Welcoming your guests is easy and secure. When someone rings the video doorbell, you can control everything right on your phone and go back to enjoying the rest of your warm summer days. Take control with the video doorbell from Forest Security. Let's make back to school season this year easier for you and your whole family. Customize the scene on your Forest Security app to ensure as you leave for the day that your doors are locked, lights are off, garage door is closed, and your security system is on with the push of one button. When the kids get home, they can unlock the doors and turn off the alarm with their mobile app or door code. Plus, you can receive an instant notification with a video clip showing they are home safely. Relax in the evening with a movie night routine to ensure your alarm is set, lights turned down, and room temperature is comfortable. Call Forest today.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
All right, I'm here with senior running back Tyler McGlattery of the Central Rockets, making the quarterfinals for the first time in 19 years. This had to have been a very interesting week of practice. What was it like leading up to this moment?
Yes, sir. It was amazing. Last year, losing last week, we wanted to come into the season strong. We wanted to be better than ever. Seeing seniors last year, them crying, we didn't want to be a one-and-done team, so we wanted to continue it throughout the season. Practice has been 100% efficiency all week, so we're just staying locked in for this game.
As November goes, you get crazy rain last week. Today, you get 65 degrees and almost perfect conditions. What was the bonding experience like in those weather conditions a week ago?
It was crazy. Going to the locker room, we were all steaming. So coming out of that, we always wanted to fight through it. It was cold in the moment, but after that, coming out with a dub, it was better. So the cold, we got through it.
What are some of the things you want to accomplish in order to get a victory today against Fenwick? What are some of the things you're focusing on?
We want to stay complete on the defense. Defense can be a big side of the game today, and offense too. We want to pound the ball all game. We want to potentially get a pick today. So,
Tyler McGlattery, the senior running back for the Central Rockets, getting ready for Fenwick here this afternoon.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
All right, I'm here with senior running back Tyler McGlattery of the Central Rockets, making the quarterfinals for the first time in 19 years. This had to have been a very interesting week of practice. What was it like leading up to this moment?
Yes, sir. It was amazing. Last year, losing last week, we wanted to come into the season strong. We wanted to be better than ever. Seeing seniors last year, them crying, we didn't want to be a one-and-done team, so we wanted to continue it throughout the season. Practice has been 100% efficiency all week, so we're just staying locked in for this game.
As November goes, you get crazy rain last week. Today, you get 65 degrees and almost perfect conditions. What was the bonding experience like in those weather conditions a week ago?
It was crazy, going to the locker room, we were all steaming. So coming out of that, we always wanted to fight through it, It was cold in the moment, but after that, coming out with a dub, it was better. So the cold, we got through it.
What are some of the things you want to accomplish in order to get a victory today against Fenwick? What are some of the things you're focusing on?
We want to stay complete on the defense. Defense can be a big side of the game today, and offense too. We want to pound the ball all game. We want to potentially get a pick today. So
Tyler McGlattery, the senior running back for the Central Rockets, getting ready for Fenwick here this afternoon.
At Quick Trip, we're known for our fresh and delicious food and our dedication to providing the best customer service. Did you know it takes more than 34,000 dedicated, hard-working people bringing their best every day to make that happen? Quick Trip wants to thank all our co-workers for their tireless hard work and dedication to making a difference in someone's life. Hey, join us in saying thank you to the family of co-workers known for their love of community and treating everyone like family.
Welcoming your guests is easy and secure. When someone rings the video doorbell, you can control everything right on your phone and go back to enjoying the rest of your warm summer days. Take control with a video doorbell from Forest Security.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
There have always been a few, ready to fight and win. Since 1775, these few have been Marines, and they come from across this land to defend the future of our nation. This year, our Corps celebrates 250 years, and Marines are proud to serve this country, each other, and all that is still to come for America. There have always been a few, ready to fight and win. Since 1775, these few have been Marines, and they come from across this land to defend the future of our nation. This year, our Corps celebrates 250 years, and Marines are proud to serve this country, each other, and all that is still to come for America.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
3 wins down, 2 to go. The IHSA quarterfinals are next. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Matt Rodewald. It is 12:45 p.m., which means it's about some time for some high school quarterfinal action. Central, Burlington Central, Burlington, however you want to phrase them, they are 1 win away from their first ever semifinal appearance. And for Fenwick, Matt, they have dominated most of this season.
They have been very good. A 2-game skid to wrap up the regular season, but they gave Mount Carmel everything they could handle, and that told everybody across the state that they were a contender in Class 6A, and they are looking at the possibility of Nazareth and Fenwick in the semifinals. But the Central Rockets have really never been in this position. These kids weren't alive the last time the school was in the quarterfinals. It's been 19 years. They're only their 4th trip to this level and the biggest on this class stage, the first time they've been in Class 6A this far. And so there's a lot of hope in terms of the guys in white trying to compete. This is going to be a physical game, a knockdown, drag-out Catholic League game, just like everyone wants to see.
Can the Rockets contain Jamin Williams both in the pocket as he rolls outside?
The question is their front seven's got to be able to get pressure. They're one of the best front sevens in the western suburbs. They're physical. They're big. Guys like Aiden Nuno can really get there. If they can cause pressure and keep him in the pocket, that's where it's going to be able to be some defensive magic for the Rockets. However, it's going to be a real test on the back four. They're the defensive backs, their secondary. If they can stay with the receivers to allow to keep Jameson Williams essentially in a running back situation. If the Rockets can do that and create some pressure and get themselves in down and distance situations that are favorable, this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out game.
Who do you like in this one? I have to go with Fenwick. They've scored over 40 points in their previous 2 playoff games. This is a great story in Burlington. I am worried, though. I don't know if they have enough offensively to go tick for tat with Fenwick
And
today.
that's the key, and I think Fenwick is the favorite because they have the ability to win in a different type of way. They can run possession football. They can also pass the ball very well. It's one of those things when both of those teams have the way they want to play. For Central, I think it's going to be very key to make sure that they have possession football, pound the football. If they are running the football the way they want to, it's going to put Fenwick on their heels to try and change up what they want to do defensively, creating long possessions. The key is also, we talked about Jamin Williams. If he doesn't have the football and if he's on the sideline, he can't do damage. So the Rockets want to do ball control offense today to make sure that they have a chance to win.
On the Burlington side, offensively, what do you like offensively from them, and how can they kind of counteract this tough defense of the Friars?
Well, we're going to hear from Tyler McGlattery in a little bit, and he's their key running back to get going. But this the front lines, really, the offensive line and defensive line for the Rockets. Last year they were able to throw the ball and get all up and down the field pretty quick. They've switched offensively to be a little bit more of a contained attack on the ground. And, Landon Arnold is a versatile quarterback. They may not have the weapons on the outside other than, say, Christian Livingston to be able to throw the football. And they can throw the football a little bit in key situations, but they've got to be able to run the football. So I look at the front 5. If they can create space, if they can create holes against a very good Fenwick front line, that's where your battle is. Whoever wins that wins the football game.
I'm picking Fenwick. I know you've covered Burlington a lot this season. I think it's going to be a blowout. I like Fenwick 42, Burlington 14.
I'm not much into predictions when it comes down to it because I want to see the game unfold. These first couple of minutes are really key in terms of who has possession and how they have possession. If both teams can kind of do what they want, then this is going to be back and forth here, and I think you're looking at more of an under type situation. If you take the under, I think you're in
right
for a treat today because I think this is traditional November football, even though the weather doesn't give us the kind of November feel right now.
It feels like September. Look, if Burlington can keep Fenwick under 28 points scored, first round matchup, they defeated Liberty 21-17 last week in the rain. That was a fun one against Harlem. They won 24-14. I just don't know if Burlington has enough to score 30-plus points to keep track with Fenwick.
And that's the key. It's making sure that they have a limited number of possessions for the Fenwick offense. And that's why I'm talking about how the fact that Central, if they can continue to run the long drives of, say, the 10 to 12 drives of running football that keeps them off the field, that is going to be a key to make sure that not only it's a low-scoring game, but they have a chance to be in position in the end to win the football game.
All right, partner, we're going to take a break. We'll be back 5 minutes from now. National Anthem and public address announcements coming up next here on the NFHS Network.
1 second from half court. Jumping for joy.
First ever.
A 2-on-1. Oh.
Did he bring it in? He did.
It is caught.
At Quick Trip, we're known for our fresh and delicious food and our dedication to providing the best customer service. Did you know it takes more than 34,000 dedicated, hard-working people bringing their best every day to make that happen? Quick Trip wants to thank all our co-workers for their tireless hard work and dedication to making a difference in someone's life. Hey, join us in saying thank you to the family of co-workers known for their love of community and treating everyone like family.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
One second from half court. Jumping for joy.
First ever.
A 2-on-1. Oh.
Did he bring it in? He did.
It is caught.
There have always been a few ready to fight and win. Since 1775, these few have been Marines, and they come from across this land to defend the future of our nation. This year, our Corps celebrates 250 years, and Marines are proud to serve this country, each other, and all that is still to come for America.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
We're about ready to start. Beautiful rendition of our national anthem here at beautiful Triton College Stadium, home of the Friars. Burlington Central in the white and blue, Fenwick in the black and white. I like Fenwick in this one. You're just looking for a good game.
I'm always looking for a good game, Kyle. When it comes down to it, it's playoff football. When you get this far, it means that you have talent and you have a lot of players that can play football at a high level. We know there's a lot of Division I talent on both sides of the football here, so it'll be fascinating to see, but also a contrast of styles. There's a bit of the unknown out here with Fenwick essentially saying, yeah, we know they're a good football team, but we don't get to see a lot of the Fox Valley Conference because of the locked conference schedule, so there's not a whole lot of crossover in terms of film preparation to kind of get ready. But I think what you're going to see is these two teams run a very similar style of offensive sequences. On the offensive side of the ball, it's just a matter of who's going to be able to keep the ball a little bit longer and make a difference in this one.
I think if you're Burlington, get ahead, stay ahead. I know that's cliched to say, but you're on the road, an unknown environment. You're playing a team that has a good chance of winning it all. Get ahead, put the seeds of doubt into the senior quarterback of Jamin Williams.
The big key here, of course, obviously Jake Thies, of course, trying to make sure that he does not run wild in this one here. We talked about Jamin Williams, but really, the ability to stop the run for the Rockets is going to be key to staying into this football game very early here and making sure it doesn't get away from them. Again, last year they went to Geneva in the second round and in an offensive shootout hung with a team that went to the state finals. So they're going to be able to play on this big stage. This is a group of, well, they haven't been to the quarterfinals in 19 years. They are fearless about playing on this kind of stage in November here.
So it'll be the Rockets to kick as their place kicker. I think I see 7 out there, but that's Maximilian Gemelli is 7. No kicker listed on the roster.
Gemelli is your kicker here. He's got a decent leg. You'll see with this cross breeze, it makes a difference here, but from the bottom to the top of your screen, straight across.
2 men deep for the Friars, including Cameron Garrett. He has a kick return for a touchdown. He fumbles it, and here we go. Past the 10-yard line, Garrett can't get to the 20. A slew of Rockets were there to greet him, and a nice job on special teams by Central.
I think what we're going to expect here is a very physical football game at the outset. The Rockets want to make sure that the Friars understand they're not going anywhere. They're here, and they've earned it to be on this stage. They played a couple of close games in the postseason, and the weather affected things last Saturday. The fact that they played 2 really tight games, having to win very late against Libertyville, is actually a good thing. They've been in that mode of close football the entire postseason.
Jamin Williams, the senior quarterback, got hurt last year right before the postseason. Williams with time, over the middle, right on target. Raphael Stewart completes the catch. He's going to be brought down at the 49-yard line. Excellent start for the Friars.
That's where they want to go. If they can get up the seam a little bit, that's, I think, where they feel like their biggest opportunities to get some big chunk plays, chunk yards, and it's a good start for the Friars.
1 in the backfield, 4 wide receiver look. Williams absolutely smoked on the play. That front 4 you were talking about, partner, and the sack is credited to Samir Deviniani.
It's Aiden Nuno actually on the sack. He came in flying with a free release there. And the issue with tempo football is that your linemen on the offensive side get worn down, and every now and then assignment gets missed. That's what happened there. Nuno came free, got the tough sack.
2nd and 17 at the 42. 1 in the backfield. They're going to swing it out right. Thies breaking off a tackle, trying to get to the original line of scrimmage. Good pursuit by the Rockets, and 3rd and 10 coming up for Fenwick.
Thies there, you saw the ball kind of get a little wobbly there at the end, and that just brings up the point that turnovers could really tell the story. The Rockets have got to force multiple turnovers in this one, but the Friars, though, can't give extra possessions away.
Almost got him to draw offside.
They did.
And they did. From 3rd and 9 to 3rd and 4, a killer against the Rockets.
This is a 2-down setup here, I think, for the Friars. Either way, if they don't get the first down here, I think you go for it in 4th down, and I think they did it again.
Offside. Looked like it was on 67, Aiden Nuno.
Yeah, uncharacteristic mistakes there, and this is the things, you know, you get a second down and 19 and you give up a first down because of penalties is simply unacceptable at any time of the year.
Downfield, touchdown! How about that? Will Tomczak down the field, touchdown pass, back-to-back encroachments, and then the Friars make him pay with the big chunk play.
Tomczak, just a simple fly route down the field, and he got behind Jake Bohr in that one, and the safety came too shallow to help, and just an easy pitch and catch for the score.
Wow. That did not take long, partner. 10:23 to go in the first quarter. We only play 12-minute quarters in high school football.
Very unusual opening drive.
Right through the upright, 7-0 Friars. We'll take a break. You're watching the Friars against the Rockets here on the NFHS Network.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Seven, nothing. Wow. Back-to-back encroachments, over a 35-yard touchdown pass from Williams to Will Tomczak. And how does Landon Arnold and this Rocket offense respond?
You're just coming off that drive. You don't see a drive like that where you got a big play, then a big sack, and then two penalties, and then a couple of big plays. Very strange start all the way around here. I want to see if the Rockets can hold on to the football here. They're going to get the ball at the 20-yard line, good position, good field position to start here. I think if you're the Rockets, you got to focus on making sure that you gradually work your way down the field, keep moving the chains, and continue to take time off the clock. That's just a minute 47 that came off, minute 37 that came off the clock. That's probably the best case scenario for a quick hit drive like that. But the Rockets have got to be able to hold on to the football, and Jackson Arnold's got to direct traffic here.
Ball at their own 20 after the touchback. Two in the backfield. One in motion. Handoff up the middle. Nothing doing. Maybe got a yard, but this front four of Fenwick is lethal.
Yeah, good pursuit there. Coming on in, Aiden Williams, the senior, Oak Park native, able to come in on the, it looked like he came from the edge and crashed down. You're going to have to do better on first down for the Rockets.
Barely got past the 20-yard line. Second and a very long 9. One in the backfield, and you got an end on the left side of the left tackle. Quick handoff. Well read by the Friars. Tommy Thies and the future Miami, Ohio player looking like that on that play.
That's Christian Livingston on the end around, and the issue with the Rockets is they haven't seen this kind of speed on their pursuit throughout the course of the season. Again, with the Lock Conference, they played teams like Curry Grove and Prairie Ridge early in the year, but at this point, it's been several weeks since they've seen this kind of speed there. So if you're going to run end around and get to the edge there, you got to make sure you pick up those crackback blocks on the inside. Didn't do it here. They don't want to throw, but they're going to have to here.
3rd and 6, shotgun formation for Arnold. Good snap, plenty of time. Arnold in the pocket off his back foot. Dangerous pass. Williams almost intercepted it. Pass deflection by Aiden Williams. 4th and 6 coming up.
Not a good drive for the Rockets, but really good defense for the Friars, understanding where the outlet route was. That little flat route could have been a pick 6 with ease. Really good possession defensively. Aiden Williams was everywhere to start this first defensive drive for the Friars.
4th and 6 at their own 24. A horror start for Burlington.
The Friars called timeout. They didn't have their punt return unit out there.
We'll take a timeout as well. It's 7-0 Friars here on the NFHS Network.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
Yeah.
4th and 6 at the 24. It'll be their wide receiver / punter. And it's going to be Gemelli to punt. Not a great one, but it takes a couple of friendly Burlington hops. Flag on the play. This could be running into the punter. Remember, running is a 5-yard penalty. Roughing is 15.
Well, mistakes giveth and mistakes take it away. That honestly, if I'm the Friars defensive special teams unit here, so to speak, they don't need to really get pressure up there.
But you've seen Gemelli all season. Does he have a boot as a punter?
Yeah, he does. He's got a bit of a leg here, but again, this wind is really tricky. When you get them high in the air, it's going to stick. And so that one got to about midfield there. He's got maybe about 10 more yards on it. If it's running into the kicker, it's only 5 yards, as you mentioned, but that leaves it short by about a yard.
And I think you want to minimize Fenwick's possession, so if it's 5 yard, I think you might consider going for it. I know you're at your own 29, but you only need a yard.
They're
so
not
he's running into the punter.
Yeah, I don't.
4th and 1. What do you want to do here? And the analytics of the game have changed so much, Matt. A lot of teams like to go for it to minimize the possessions of the other team.
Brian Yossi is not going to go for it here. He's going to make sure that he trusts his defense out there. I know they didn't have a really good sharp drive on that first possession here, but he's going to put it in the hands of his defense. I don't expect anything crazy here.
One man deep at his own 37. As Stewart will let it hop. Thought about catching it, and a good decision by Parker Oxier to let it roll, and it gets to the 36.
That turned into a 15-yard penalty based on the fact of the running into the kicker. So a good decision by the Rockets to do so and put it back in the hands of their defense. And again, we'll see with the Friars if they can get into a rhythm here. Some big plays, big chunk plays early here.
Just avoid the turnovers, like you said, Matthew. If you could avoid the turnovers, Jamin Williams only has 2 picks all season, 18 touchdown passes.
You know, you look at Williams, 5'9". He's got quickness, not the kind of size that you'd like to have, but you can see how much of a floor general he is.
Williams will step up into the pocket, and it's going to be a sack for the Rockets. Credited on the sack is Matthew Bending.
This is exactly the kind of thing that the Rockets want to do defensively. Can you keep Williams in the pocket and have to dance to figure things out? It's going to rely on the back four and the secondary to make sure that they continue to cover and not give up big plays that will allow the front seven to go get him.
Williams will hand it off. Jake Thee still on his feet, diving, and he's brought down at the 44-yard lines. 2 Rockets on the tackle. Finishing the tackle was Parker Oxier.
How do you like the strength and the knee drive that you get from a Jake Thies? And really impressive to get. He picked up essentially 3-4 more yards to get it a little more manageable at 3rd and 2.
Got to get to the 46. Williams with a clean pocket. Drop off pass to Thies. Stiff arm action. Still on his feet. Brought out of bounds. Showing why he was the SBS Player of the Week last week.
Tyler McGlattery had a chance to stop him before the first down, slipped through the tackle. Rockets have to be sound in that category. First down, move the chains.
If you're Burlington, hold them to a field goal or less. 14-0, that's a hard comeback early on for this Rocket offense. Williams. Another big sack. That ball's loose. Was he down? I think he was.
They called him down.
And Williams slow to get up.
He took all of the weight of the Rockets there. I want to say that may have been all 6 foot 270 of Aiden Nuno. Brady Williamson, 6'1", 300 pounds. So there's a lot of beef up there for the Rockets. But again, if you can get pressure, look at the down and distance we're talking about here. Back to 2nd and 18. It allows your backside of your protection from the secondary standpoint to breathe a little bit. You can work underneath a little bit, but you don't have to worry about the big play nearly as much.
And it's harder for Fenwick to run the ball now at 2nd and 17. They love to run it. Williams with time to his security blanket and Thies. The pursuit was excellent by Burlington. Sam McGloris on the tackle.
This is more indicative of the kind of style of play the Rockets defensively have been. They force you into these kinds of situations. They don't blitz a lot, and they don't have to when you have the size they do up front. This is going to be fascinating to watch the adjustment for the Friars. They like the big plays. They like to run the football here, but when you take one element away like they did here with 3rd down and 19, it forces a lot on your passing attack.
Ball at the 45. Who moved first? The Fenwick fans think it was Burlington.
It's the 3rd time that's happened for the Rockets. That is a locker room conversation at the break. And Nuno's going to come out. He was a Division I recruit. I think they just want to get him out.
They're going to go with their backup and Logan Gibson, at least for this play. 3rd and 19, obvious passing situation. If you're Williams, if it's not there, either throw it away or take off.
Well, you want Nuno on the field, but if you got to be careful in terms of snap count, and the claps have really caught the attention of the Rockets.
Williams will take off. He's got a lot of speed. He's still on his feet. A couple yards short, and I think they're going to go for it.
You know what, and that's just far enough to get themselves into go-for-it territory.
So it was 3rd and 19, but the encroachment made it 3rd and 14. Now it's
and that's the danger with Williams, because he can, once he gets through the pocket, he can get out in space and run the football pretty well.
If you go for it, the question is, would that give Burlington some momentum if they don't convert?
Right, and that's the question here. I think they're going to go for it, but the analytics say to do so.
High snap. Handoff, Thies, so much patience. And he is going to be brought down near the 30-yard line. I just need more cowbell. They got the cowbell going up here at Triton College Stadium.
It is loud here in River Grove. The Fenwick students are out in droves. It's a great atmosphere on a beautiful Saturday. And Fenwick's offense doing just enough with the RPO to try and dance and read the crash down end to get the first down.
Ball at the 31, one in the backfield. Williams, he'll take off. Past the 25, gets to the edge, down the sideline. He's going to be brought down near the 10. The Friars are rolling right now.
You can look at all the tape you want when it comes to preparing for a guy like Jamin Williams, but you won't be able to simulate the kind of speed and shiftiness that he brings when he scrambles as a quarterback. And another big chunk play for the Friars, who are rolling up yards early.
They spot it at the 11, so technically they can get a first down if they need to. Up the middle, Jake Thies, what else is new? Yards, yards, yards. He's accumulated them this season.
The key with the Rockets getting those 3 encroachment penalties, it's now put them back on their heels. They don't get the jump off the snap the way that they have been, and that's been allowing the Friar offensive line to come blow off the ball and really crash down on the blocks that they want to get the attrition down the field. I mean, more than anything else, that's why those penalties are dangerous. It's not the yardage that you give up. It's because now you're playing back on your heels a little bit, and you can't come out of the blocks clean.
Might be second-guessing yourself, too.
Yeah.
Drop-off pass, screen, Thies, dives, touchdown! Touchdown, Thies, touchdown, Friars. 13-0, 6-yard touchdown reception for number 8.
He's really good in that flare-out route because there's nobody that can come up and get him. They had a couple of guys that were in the neighborhood, maybe a near holding penalty, but the Friars doing what they normally do is when they get to the outside, they are able to lock down in their blocks, and boy, this Friar offense is rolling early.
Noah Sir, the future Division I kicker to kick, going to Northwestern along with Johnny O'Brien.
Mishandled the snap.
And this is a break for the Rockets. It'll be 13-0. Credited on the tackle, at least starting the tackle, was Gavin Bergman. Final thoughts, partner, before we go to commercial.
Just a really, the Friars doing what they do, being able to, scramble in space, throw the ball just enough. They've got the Rockets on their heels.
Take a break. It's 13-0 Friars.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
13-0. If Fenwick wins tonight, they either go on the road to Lake Zurich or to LaGrange Park to play Nazareth Academy. But for now, they got some work to do. They're only up 13-0.
Yeah, you know, and the Rockets really have to have a possession here that holds the football for a while here. There is plenty of game time left here, but Fenwick's being able to do whatever they want. This is why they're such a good football team. They can win in different ways. They can run the football, they can scramble with the football, they can throw the football here. And now defensively, they've been able to get off the field on 3 downs and a cloud of dust. And this is what makes them a well-rounded team. This is why they're a danger to win the whole thing. And I know East St. Louis is in this class, and I know Nazareth's a very good football team, having seen them a couple times. But if you can get past Nazareth and find yourself in a situation with East St. Louis where their discipline is always a question, the number of penalties, this is a team that can hurt you with penalties.
1st and 10 at the 20. You know, they weren't a favorite to win 6A coming into the season. The Jake Thies, Tommy Thies brother connection, they have been very underrated to start the season. They've been fantastic throughout. Designed quarterback keeper has a nice run for Arnold.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to be able to do at times, but I think they're going to have to rely on that probably more than they want to early on here. You know, Landon's a big kid. He's a 6'2", 200-pound, one of the strongest kids on the program, one of the fastest kids in the program for the Rockets, and he may have to put this whole thing on his shoulders to try and wheel the Rockets back into this one.
2nd and 1 at the 29. 2 in the backfield. Handoff off the right side, gets to the right tackle. It's going to be a first down for the Rockets. And it's like you talked about, Matt, sustaining drives here.
This is more like it. Porter Ox here is a good running back. He's a good change of pace back for the Rockets. You have Tyler McGlattery, and you have the strength of Landon Arnold. So when you have those guys, and you like the setup there, they kind of run that pistol setup. It's almost an I formation, from the shotgun. And so when you get the downhill lead back to go into that hole and clear it out, that's where you're going to get the space. Rockets hadn't been able to do that till now.
One in motion. It's their tight end right next to the QB. Handoff. No, it's a fake, and it's going to be a sack for the Friars. Excellent fake by Arnold, but the Friars were not fooled.
Yeah, I went with the running back to watch that one because I thought he had a nice hole, but now I understand why. And nearly a disaster and a turnover there. But the problem is down at distance. You get to 2nd and 13, it limits your playbook a little bit here. I expect a trust with the run on some longer down and distances, but the rope gets a little bit shorter at this point.
2nd and 14. Ball at their own 37. The Friars can beat you in so many different ways, and they're showing it today. Low snap. This time it is indeed a handoff. Short gain on the tackle is Duffy Monahan. 3rd long coming up for the Rockets.
The Friars showed blitz, but then they didn't back it off there. When they backed it off, the Rockets had nobody in the lead to try and get through the hole, and it allowed that second level of free reign up front to try and stop them. And again, 3rd and 10 here, big play for the Rockets to try and stay in this football game.
Got to get to the 49-yard line. Showing blitz of the Friars. Arnold, drop-off pass, one-handed catch. A little bit short, but that was a fantastic catch by the tight end in Matthew Bending.
I think they're going to go for it here, and the way they want to do this 3 tight end set, they're going to have 12 personnel out there. You can see Nuno is coming on as the extra back here. They're going to go for it in 4th and 2. They know they've got to get this first down and keep the football here with the clock running.
Try to keep the ball out of Williams' hands. Put 6 on the Jumbotron, but take a long time to get 6 on that Jumbotron. 4th and 2. Arnold trying to get him to jump. Friars not fooled. 2 in the backfield. Good snap. Handoff off the right guard. It's going to be a first down for the Rockets. Excellent push up front. Was the ball out, though? No signal yet. For now, it's a first down. Tyler McGlattery gets the first.
Boy, the Rockets look down at the end of that play. That discussion does not sit well if you're a Central Rockets fan. That is a huge relief if you're a Central Rocket. You get the first down, you keep the ball, you keep the clock moving here.
Well, we saw it last week where Rolling Meadows fumbled late. Michael Murphy picked it up. They ended up dominating the Mustangs in that one. This time, the Rockets get the benefit of the knee being down just before the ball popped out.
Rolling Meadows hung around for just a bit, and then all of a sudden the onslaught happens, and that's what can happen here when you play in River Grove.
They have not lost here all season long. Have the Friars. 1st and 10 of the 45. Good snap. Arnold will take off. He's tough to bring down, partner. Why is that the case?
He's just so big and so strong. I mean, this is a guy who's stuck with it. You know, he's got varsity experience coming into this year, where he was a backup to a really good good quarterback in Jackson Alcorn. And so there's some leadership elements. They trust him to kind of make the decisions and make the calls. You know, last week in the rain, there were some play calls late with the wet ball and everything, and he's changing the play, saying, no, I don't feel like handing it off here because I'm worried about the exchange. I'm just going to keep it myself. So he is not afraid to put it on his shoulders and to keep the football as we get to the end of the first quarter.
So that does it for the first. We're going to take a break. It's 13-0 Friars here on the NFHS Network.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
We're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I can earn that solo!
You saying I did?
Yeah!
Come on! What's wrong with you?
Second quarter about to start. It's 2nd and 4 for the Rockets. Ball in the 39 of Fenwick. Landon Arnold and Tyler McGlattery, the reason why they're driving right now. If you're just joining us, Jake Dees as well as Jamin Williams have been lethal on offense for Fenwick. One in motion. They fake the jet sweep. Arnold will take off. Murphy got him, but Arnold with that strength and that size able to get 2 more yards after contact.
Just enough misdirection to freeze the front 4 and the front 3 to allow Landon Arnold to look for a hole, but now you've seen it. He's going to have to keep the football and run it. You know, guy who's run for 800 yards on the ground, thrown for 900 in the air. He's been able to do a little bit of everything throughout the course of the season here, but big play here. This, again, 2-down territory and where they are.
3rd and 1 at the 36, obviously 4-down territory. 2 in the backfield. Hard count, flag on the play. This is huge if it's against the Rockets. But the Friars are backing up, so it might be on them.
So Arnold's got a hard count as well, and so that's what's fascinating about watching, you know, Aiden Nuno jump off a couple times. This is what they do in practice each and every day. And against Libertyville in the first round, same thing. Whereas the Rockets were able to get Libertyville to jump off sides 3, 4, 5 times in that one, several of them going for first downs.
Handoff up the middle. Nothing doing for the Rockets. Excellent penetration and the tackle by Zakomo Mabewe.
Liam Cahill really coming through there, the senior linebacker from the 2nd level. You know, this after a while when you see RPO, you start to you understand the tendencies from a defensive standpoint, and you think that the Friars are starting to figure out some of the things that the Rockets like to do. This is where it's going to be interesting for Brian Yossi to try and figure out if he can dance with the playbook a little bit to give them some looks they haven't seen before.
Ball on the 29-yard line. 8 yards to go as it's 2nd down for Burlington. Snap to Arnold. Quick pass behind him, almost picked off. And the intended target for the Rockets was Gavin Bergman.
Yeah, they had 3 wide there. When they do the 3 wide set, they like to go into the slants and work their way on the short yardage. But they're so far off the ball, the Friars, in terms of, because there's no threat at the moment to throw the football. It allows them to be comfortable, and it allows the Rockets to try and figure out, well, where am I going to plant here? Not paying attention when the football is coming your way. It's a timing route, just didn't work.
Got to get to the 21-yard line to keep the drive moving. Bergman in motion. They fake the handoff to him. Arnold in the open field, gets to the 2nd level, breaks off a tackle. Bursted 10 and more for the Rockets.
6'2", 220. when you have that kind of strength as a quarterback, I'm surprised he's not getting looks at the D3 level at the very least, because he's a field general who can run the RPO pretty well, and he's shown that the durability to be able to keep it and take the pounding and take the hits and just throw the football well enough.
I love that it's a blue out right now for the Rockets. Everybody in the blue, the parents and the adults and the fans.
Got the students in the white. Outstanding turnout from Central.
Ball at the 15. Lead pocket. Now a screen pass. Breaks off a tackle at the last second. He's able to get him, but a nice run by Parker Oxier.
Yeah, see, that's that change of pace I was talking about with him earlier. When you can flare him out on the edge, he has just enough speed to really be dangerous out there in the open field. You'll take 5-6 yards on that play to start a first down.
Can they do what Rolling Meadows couldn't do last weekend and put 6 on the Jumbotron in the second quarter?
Now they're going to continue to keep time off the clock here, and that's the big thing. This has been a long, long possession for Central.
2nd and 4 at the 9. Almost offside was Fenwick. No running back this time. 5 wide receiver set. Pressure comes, quick pass. Had to get rid of it quickly as the pressure was indeed there, delivered by Vincent Fagiolo.
Boy, he came in flying without any sort of resistance, and that is a tough throw to make.
All right, partner, it's 3rd and 4 at the 9. You could technically get a first down if you need to. Do you want to do something crazy here? Maybe a flea flicker?
Not in that territory here. I think what you're looking at is trying to go to the well here, go to your bread and butter. You got a big package up front to see if they can go off to the right side. I think they want to go short side of the field if they can.
Good snap. Arnold will take it himself. Still on his feet. It's going to be close. He either got it or he's a half yard short.
So they drew the attention to the short side of the field, and he kept it himself, which allowed him a matchup that he had to the outside, and Arnold got very close. And he did get the first down. But more importantly, this is where the clock continues to turn here, and this is kind of what you wanted to see if you're a Rockets fan. Very few possessions, limit the possessions, keep the football out of the hands of Jamin Williams by keeping him on the bench.
First and goal at the 5. Just an excellent drive engineered by Arnold. Can they finish the job here? I think you're thinking 6. I don't think 3 is on the table at all.
Big package, 12 personnel here.
One of the backfield. Now moves to Arnold's right. Arnold will take off. Eyes the goal line, dives for it. Touchdown, Arnold. Touchdown, Rockets. They're right back in the game.
Landon Arnold directing traffic. He had signaled right before the snap to his center what he was going to do in terms of direction. And that was the key as everyone shuffled down to the right, and he went against the grain, found his way into pay dirt.
13-6, PAT coming up. And will that miss PAT? Was a bad snap by Fenwick. Will that become costly here? It's Gemelli to kick. Nice drive by Arnold. We'll see how the Friars can answer offensively. Good snap. The hold was there. The kick. Nice and high, and it's right through the uprights. It's 13-7 Friars. We'll take a break here on the NFHS Network. (13-7). What a drive by Landon Arnold and the Central Rockets quarterback. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Matt Rodewald. A couple of touchdowns by Fenwick. It looked like it might be a blowout early, but Arnold and the Rockets offense able to answer. And the fumble that wasn't, they took advantage of it.
Yeah, that was a good answer there, and they avoided disaster with a fumble that was ruled down by contact. And, you know, they picked up some key conversions on 3rd down, 4th down there. And that's the kind of thing that they've seen with this Rocket program throughout the course of the year. Resilience You know, when they played for Prairie Ridge early in this year, they had 3 turnovers and gave them a whole sorts of possessions that they didn't expect to have. Otherwise, they played fairly well against a team that was set to compete in 5A, and they beat a Cary Grove team that's suddenly been resurgent throughout the course of the season, getting eliminated last night. So they know that they can play with some of the best teams in Class 6A. It just took them a little bit to get going here. Now the key is if this defense can get off the field, they're going to feel a little bit better. But the Friars now know they're in a football game. It'll be interesting to see how they respond if they can keep doing the things they've been able to do with terms of Jamin Williams being able to get out of the pocket, scramble a little bit, and make himself a threat, a dual threat.
1st and 10 at their own 20 after the touchback. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Quick pass. Cameron Garrett still on his feet. And actually that's Stewart, and he gets the first down. And a nice job by Stewart. That was all on his own getting that first.
Outstanding patience from Stewart there. I mean, you just have to love no understanding. You're also down in distance. 1st and 10, you got time to try and wait for everybody to come get you. And when you have that kind of shiftiness, it's really, really hard to understand where he's going and figuring out patterns.
1st and 10 at their own 33. That was a tackle the Rockets should have made, but they couldn't make it. High snap. Handoff to Thies, gets to the edge. Thies, spinorama, more yards after contact. Hard to bring down.
Yeah, you know, when you get that deep into the second level, it's going to create problems there, and that's where, you know, the Rockets, we talked at the outset about the offensive line and defensive line where the battle's going to be there. It's whoever gets worn down first here is going to be key, and that's one thing I'm watching, how well the Rockets get off their blocks here as we get deeper into this one.
High snap. Jake Thies gets to the edge. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, hard to bring down.
He's just a strong kid, not afraid for contact. You know, at only 190, I would say only at 190, and all these running backs these days are at least 200 pounds, but these kids have been in the weight room since December each and every year. They know how to play football. They understand contact. This is week 12, and you're going to get hit pretty hard. Thies is just not afraid of it, and he's embracing it at this point.
Screen pass out to the right. Tomczak down the sideline. He had that touchdown earlier. You know, partner, you do a nice job at Burlington as the communications coordinator.
Flag came out at the end there, and this may bring it back. I wasn't sure if there's an illegal shift on this play.
Just a hold. Interesting place to have a hold. He was about to go out of bounds when they held, unless it was right at the snap.
You know, the flare out to the edge, sometimes what happens is that the defensive linemen understand that it's going to get out, so they've got to get contained, and those right tackles will hold on a little longer than they should. And once the ball's in the air, you really have to let go. In that case, I don't think that's what happened, and that cost them 10 yards. Cost them a big play there.
Really interesting. Burlington Central has not played a private school since 2018.
I had to look that up myself, and it's been a while for sure. Oh!
Almost an interception. Look at the athleticism. Spectacular play by Tyler McLattery.
It's going to take one of those kinds of plays for the Rockets, you know, if they want magic to happen here today. But, yeah, again, the part of it is, you know, when you go into the Fox Valley Conference, as they did 6-7 years ago, and they ultimately found themselves in a locked conference schedule, which means they don't play any non-conference teams. In fact, the playoff game they played in last year was the first they had played in 10 years, also first non-conference opponent they'd seen since 2017. So, you know, it's been interesting for them to get outside of their Fox Valley circle and see how good they really are.
If Burlington wins today, Brian Aosi will tie Dave Smith for the all-time record at Burlington with 5 playoff wins.
Yeah, it's not a ton of playoff success out there at Central over the years. There's been some good football over the years, but the growth has changed the way that they've looked at their success. Backside screen.
Yep, it's going to get it to Murphy. Nowhere to go. And 3rd and long. Do you want to be conservative here if you're Fenwick?
No, I don't know if you have to be here. You know, what you saw with by the way, great tackle there as you saw coming up there. Gavin Bergman really running right through it. I think you still have 2 downs to get, and we talked about it here when we had 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. You get it within reach of the sticks. You might think about going for it on 4th down here, but they've got to make something happen here on 3rd down just to even have that conversation.
Maybe get it to Stewart on a screen or a short slant, get him out in space.
Either way, this is the best thing that could happen to the Rockets as that clock continues to run.
High snap. Here comes the pressure. Drop-off pass to Murphy. usually used as a linebacker, but today as a tight end. And great job by the Rockets avoiding that face mask at the last second, laid off.
Really impressed with the pressure. Nuno came in on that right edge, and he was able to really get in the face of Williams, who what that essentially did was limited his reads. He went to the one read he knew he could get to, the dump-off pass. 4th down.
Clock continues to run, like you said, Matt. That's advantage Burlington.
And you got to be very careful here. He's still in fake punt territory.
Yeah, I think you trust your defense, and Sir has such a boot. I think you want to utilize Sir as much as you can.
Oh, nearly got
Pressure
there.
comes. Look at the hang time.
And guess who? It was Nuno that got up there.
So what D1 universities looked at him, and where did he sign?
He's looking at a MAC kid, right now, as a Miami of Ohio kid. And, when you have the size that you have with this Rocket front line, really everyone's kind of been looked at in terms of, well, you can help us, especially when you're talking about the fact that they're 20 minutes from Northern Illinois. As they're leaving the MAC this year, though, that's how the teams have come out, and as they've made their trek through Northern Illinois out to DeKalb, they stop out in Burlington to take a look at the kids for sure. And, with all the game tape you can get, it's great to see that these kids are getting looks. The one guy that I'd like to see get a look is who's taking the snap right here.
Takes the handoff. Slow developing play, but right on target as he gets it to his wideout in Maximilian Gemelli.
Yeah, they can throw the ball a little bit, but they need to use the run to set up the pass, and that's how they've been able to do that throughout the course of the year. This is just enough time where you can figure out a way to run the clock down to the end of the half. Look, when you play against Cary Grove and Prairie Ridge throughout the course of the season, you know how to play ball control offense.
Clock stops because he went out of bounds. It's 5:13 on the clock. One in motion. Spinorama, no chance for the running back. A slew of Fenwick players were there to greet him. Aiden Williams and Tommy Thies, the first two guys.
Outstanding push there from Fenwick. I really like what Zacomo did to bust right through that middle there. He blew up the center at the spot. And at some point, you've got to be able to vary up your offensive play calling there. That one was matched up perfectly for what Fenwick wanted to do. Again, Fenwick had the football to start this game here, so the Central Rockets will have it coming out of the half. And the bookend of this is fascinating, how this is going to end up.
Good snap. Handoff up the middle. And that was a big breaking off a tackle because it sets up 3rd and 9 or better instead of 3rd and 11 or worse.
And 3rd down and 8 here. You still have 2 plays to work with, but you also have to be careful looking at the clock. Just conventional wisdom says if they can't get this to within 4th and 2, I think you punt the football away and make Fenwick go the length of the field here in the final 3 minutes of this one.
Yeah, you got to play the ball possession, field position battle. And also know the scoreboard. You're only down by 6. 3rd and 8 at the 43. Good snap. Arnold fakes the handoff to the sideline. Low throw. It would have been a first. It was on target.
Blitz pressure from Tommy Thies. He's also D1 kid, and we haven't seen a ton of his. And he's coming off with a shoulder. Yeah, he is really gimping across here. That is a huge loss if he can't come back.
Holding his wrist, too.
I think he got his left shoulder into Arnold on that sack and may have – it's stinger territory, or I don't want to speculate too much, but he is ripping the gloves off. Extended halftime, they're going to have to figure that out.
This is a football game today. Burlington played to play, and they played ready to go. 4th and 8 at the 43. Punt formation. Gemelli with a boot. He does a good job finding a spot on the field to get that friendly hop and get more field position.
He doesn't make mistakes. He's in terms of just where he wants to directionally punt the football. We've seen 2 or 3 of them go really high already. That one was more of a line drive, so the ability to vary it up is impressive so far from what he wants to do.
So 2 timeouts for Fenwick. Clock stops briefly on a first. You've got 3:37 to go. If you get the field goal, you're up 2 possessions. I think if you're Fenwick, knowing that your team leader and Tommy Thies is hurt, I think you want some kind of points going into halftime to get some of that confidence back.
There's plenty of time here, 3:37, couple timeouts, obviously first downs. You want more than the field goal. If you're trying to get 6 here to try and put the Rockets at bay and really kind of stuff them, making that first drive out of the second half really pressure-filled. The Rockets are here to play, though, and if they can continue to get pressure and push on that first down there, they've got timeouts to work with all 3 of them to try and stop the clock, get the ball back.
I don't know if this matters, but Fenwick hasn't had to play a meaningful game. What I mean by that is just a close game in 3 weeks. Every game that Burlington's played has been close.
Yeah, and I think that matters in the playoffs. Suddenly you find yourself in playoff mode, and your season, your career is on the line.
Garrett, such a slippery little devil. It's going to be close, but I think he got it.
Short by maybe a half of football. Are they going to? I think they'll.
So, partner, you've been around IHSA for so long. What could Burlington do on that play to argue for a measurement?
I think all you have to do is ask for one, and you're supposed to get it. So I'm surprised that wasn't the case there. That looked like a half a yard short, maybe a half a football short.
Yeah, I mean, at this level, they do give the benefit of the doubt, but you're right, man. I think he was a half yard short. Thies, so good. Still on his feet. One man to beat. In the open field. Past the 30. What a run. Jake Thies, what a guy.
Wow. The ability to evade tackles and the angles he took were perfect the entire way, going all the way to the left, all the way to the right. He had to have run 70 yards on that play to pick up 25. Maybe 40, I should say. It's a little more than that.
Give credit to the Rockets, so they didn't give up on the play, made sure he didn't score the touchdown.
No, and then what's dangerous there is that the potential of a turnover at the end of that play there. And, credit Thies for making sure they held on to the football.
Don't have to score fast if you're Fenwick. You're looking for any kind of points, though, preferably the touchdown. Terrible snap, and somehow they get positive yards out of it. That's just been the story of Fenwick's season.
Yeah, and Williams did the smart thing. Just make sure you gathered it before he did anything else.
Football's such a rhythm sport. Doesn't seem like a lot, but when the snap isn't good, it can change the entire complexion of the play.
If the Rockets can hold them to 3 here, I think that's a win for them. And depending on how much time's left, they can come back down the other way. And, with Jamelli's got enough of a leg where he's been able to be effective from about 30 to 35 yards in.
They go to Tommy Thies. You love to see it. He's back on the field.
For the Rockets right now, it's got to get back to some of the basics. Simple tackling on that. Well, as spectacular as that run was, there were about 4 or 5 missed tackles for the Rockets that could have stopped that play cold. So we've seen that a little bit here as we've gone deeper into this one, where missed tackles are starting to break down for the Rockets defensively.
To Stewart. Close to the 10. It's either going to be 1st and 10 at the 11 or 1st and goal at the 10.
That play doesn't happen without Cameron Garrett, and that block on the outside was just perfect on the flare-out route. And he made sure not to hold. He had the defender spinning to try and get out of there. He stayed in position, held on to that block.
Hand off to Jake Thies. Hesitation move. Still on his feet. Tackled from behind. Potentially a touchdown-saving tackle by Noah Headland.
It's interesting as the clock continues to wind here. There is just simply no urgency. A lot of patience here.
2nd and goal. Ball at the 7. Under 30 seconds to go. Jake Thies. Touchdown Friars. Touchdown Thies. 19-7 Fenwick.
Outstanding possession for the Friars. Doing everything right. Getting that push up front, and they're starting to open up some holes with their running attack in the middle.
Jake Thies, a one-man wrecking crew on that drive. They will opt for the PAT. Snap is good, as is the hold. The kick, line drive kick. Straight through the uprights. We'll stick with the action. 17 seconds to go. You do have 3 timeouts, Matt, but I think you just take a knee if you're Burlington going to half.
I don't know. I think it depends on this kick return here. I think more than anything else, you do get the ball back so to come out of the half. So I do think there's going to be a conservative play call if they don't like the field position they're in here. But it really comes down to, missed tackles defensively, some of the penalties that we've seen from the Rockets that are uncharacteristic throughout the season. They had one offensive drive that was outstanding throughout the course of this one. They've got to string 2 or 3 of those together to try and figure out a way to get back in this one.
If they want to advance to the semis, it looks like they're going to have to score 28 points or more today.
Well, really right now you're looking at 21.
You're working
but
baby steps, right?
It's called math, Kyle, when it comes down to it.
So you don't think Fenwick's going to get another touchdown
I
in the
didn't
second
say
half?
that. I'm just saying right now. I think what's key here is that Fenwick's doing a lot of things right. They're doing a lot of things that they want to do. They have the ability to throw the football down the field. I think by starting those big plays in the first quarter to get the stretch plays down the field, it sort of opened things up for what they want to do with their running attack.
Line drive kick. And automatic dead ball once it gets to the end zone. Tried to return it, but couldn't by Wagner Vbrock. Yeah, 1st and 10 at the 20. I think you just take a knee.
Now I think you are in that mode where you think about taking a knee or just a simple running play. The worst thing you can do is turn the football over in this spot.
A pick 6 might be the dagger if you were
Yeah,
to be
you're not
really
throwing
aggressive.
the football here more than anything else. I think it's really, the Rockets, they have some positives here to look at. There were some good things they did on both sides of the ball. They were able to get some pressure to Williams. They were able to get to him a couple of times. And, they got a banged-up Thies out there with a shoulder/wrist issue out there. But, they've got a lot of work to do.
At their own 20, and they will not run it. Look at the pass. Pressure comes. Arnold, dangerous pass. Almost picked off, but there might have been contact. A couple of flags thrown.
I don't quite understand the thought process behind that. But the penalty may have saved them.
Well, he did drop it, so no interception.
And that's what I mean. I think the penalty may have saved them.
Right, but obviously if it was intercepted, Fenwick would have declined it.
Now it forces your hand, and you can't do anything here. And I think you wave the white flag here, and you get out of the half.
Oh, if it was intercepted, that was a chip shot field goal for Noah Sir.
Depending on the return, too, more.
It looked like he was probably going to get tackled right away or fall to the turf.
You play with fire, you get burned, but I think the Rockets will be happy to get out of here down 20-7.
All right, partner, we'll take a quick break. Then we'll give you some halftime analysis. It's 27 Fenwick as we go to halftime here on the NHHS Network. Kyle Smith alongside Matthew Rodewald. This is the halftime show brought to you by the IHSA Network. No surprise, Fenwick on top of Burlington, but surprising how well that offense clicked late in the first half.
Yeah, they had a nice drive there to wrap things up, to answer what Central was able to do and matriculate the football down the field to perfection. We talked about ball control offense and pounding the rock. They were able to do that in the late first, early part of the second. Fenwick did a nice response, though. They got a big chunk play out of that, and then they were able to punch it in the end zone. Every opportunity they've had to score, they've taken advantage of that. Missed extra point aside, it's almost pretty perfect when it comes to Fenwick football here in this first half. And they're feeling pretty good. They're doing what they want to do. They know that Central's a good football team over there. They'll get the ball coming out of the half here, and they're going to have to do some things, to come down and score and to make this a one-possession game early on and not let this thing get away from them. Fenwick knows they can get a stop and a score and get complete control of this game.
So you had a score update for us. At halftime, it was Lake Zurich 21, Nazareth Academy 9.
Yeah, we want to welcome those of you from Nazareth that don't want to watch that for the moment because they're at halftime. Lake Zurich 21-9 at the break there. They got a score right at the end there to punch it in to make it a 21-9 game at this point. But Lake Zurich doing what they want. So, the idea of a Fenwick Lake Zurich battle up north in the beautiful picturesque setting of Lake Zurich High School is fascinating to me, and I don't think anybody really thought of that. Nazareth's been rolling along, and that's what quarterfinal weekend can do for you. I mean, we know that Maine South Oswego tied at 14 at the half right now. Montini just all over Coal City, 21-0 at halftime as well. So there's 1 o'clock games going to halftime. And it just can get weird here in the postseason in the third round, the quarterfinal round, because all of a sudden teams realize, hey, we deserve to be here. We're just as good as they are. And so there's that element of belief and confidence that certain teams grab onto, and you're seeing the Lake Zurichs, the Oswegos, they're doing it today.
So is Oswego beating Maine South right now?
That's tied at 14 at the breaks. And so Oswego's had a very good defense the last couple of years. They get flashes of offense, but I don't think Maine South expected to be in a grinder with the Panthers in Park Ridge today.
Well, they had a good chance to lose last week to Hinsdale Central. That was a very close game. I know they've got Jamison Purcell at quarterback, but football's the ultimate team sport. Just because you have the better quarterback doesn't mean you're always going to win.
Well, and we're seeing it here with Jamin Williams in terms of his ability to be shifty and with speed to get out of the pocket. But there have been times where the Central Rockets have been able to contain him, bring pressure. They're going to have to do more of that. They're going to have to dial up more pressure. They're going to have to lessen his decision-making in order to get the football back, go down and score. But I think the adjustments the Rockets need to make are more defensive than they are offensively at this point. If they can continue to run the football the way that they had in that first half, sprinkle in the pass on certain down and distance situations, I think the Rockets will be okay here. But they're going to have to play a perfect half of football, and I don't think they've done that all year long. They're going to have to see it right now if they want to see the semifinals.
Really quickly, if Burlington wants to go to their first ever semifinal, either at Nazareth or Lake Zurich, what do they have to do in this second half?
They have to play perfect football when it comes to the way that they do things, both offensively and defensively. Everything's got to go right. They've got to force some turnovers. We had pretty much a turnover-free first half, which is something you never see in the postseason. It just shows that how good these teams are, making sure that they protect the football. But they've got to get some big plays, and they just haven't done that, both on the offensive side and defensive side of the football. And those big plays really need to come from either special teams right here or on the defense to try and force a turnover to give themselves a short field.
Sir to kick off. Deep at his own 3-yard line is Burlington's Landon Arnold. Arnold does everything for this team. That one's dropped. Plays quarterback, returns kicks. Kenny Cook, we'll find out after the game.
And Wagner V-drop back in the end zone. Again, you can't return it if it touches the end zone or you're in the end zone, either way. But 1st and 10 from the 20. And there's no reason to panic here. And I certainly didn't feel like the Rockets would have that mentality of that going into halftime. But I think they know that this possession right here is probably the most important in their season. They've got to, at the very least, take a ton of time off the clock. But most importantly, they've got a way to get points on the board.
Long way to go. 80 yards to the end zone, down by 13. They need 2 touchdowns to win. Arnold, designed quarterback run, gets a couple of yards, just shy of the 25.
And what's going to be difficult is the Friars have made adjustments. They know that they're going to lean on Arnold quite a bit to run the football and dictate tempo here in the second half. It'll be fascinating to see what the front three do for the Fenwick Friars and the adjustments they make on that line and that second level, how they come up and how quickly they pursue.
We talked a lot about Sakoma Mbemwe. It's also up to Luke Leone and Cam Rutland to get the job done. As now 3 front linemen for the Friars. Arnold out to the right as he gets past the right guard and tried to dive to the 30-yard line. Chain gang moves.
I get the feeling that Arnold's going to end the day with 25, 30 carries on this one. Something you don't always see at a quarterback at this level. You see it at the lower levels for sure with those misdirection offenses, but it's going to be that misdirection type field, the wing set. This is not a wing offense, so single wing, double wing, but they're going to have to rely on making sure they get as many blockers in front to clear holes for Arnold to work with.
3rd and short. They're still going to run shotgun here.
They go with their big package here. 11 personnel on a timeout.
Timeout called by Burlington. We'll take a timeout as well. It's 20-7 in favor of the Friars. What do you think that the coaching staff for the Rockets were talking about in that timeout?
I don't think they liked the setup that they had. There was too much adjustment, and they didn't want to make a mistake. This is an absolutely hugely important down for the Rockets.
Tight end in motion. Arnold still on his feet. He'll get the first down and more as this offensive line for Burlington. They haven't been great today, but good enough to keep them in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's been chunk yards in terms of like 3, 4, 5, and that's all you need at this point. To keep the ball moving here. Make sure you convert on 3rd downs. But this is what they've done all year. They've been able to put themselves in the strength position against offensive lines that have been inferior all year. This is the biggest test they've had all season.
At their own 34. Plenty of time for Arnold. Out to the sideline. Williams with the hit.
His knee was down when he caught it.
Coombs on the catch.
See, that's the low-risk play that they'll do in terms of passing the football and to keep the corners honest. So if they're going to sit off the ball the way they are and think run every single time, Landon Arnold's got a strong enough arm to make sure that they go take care of that quick out pass. An equipment issue or an injury.
Well, Ryan Becker is 41 on the field.
Mike Murphy came off.
Jake Thies.
Thies is back in there. It was Murphy that came off with a helmet issue.
He's listed as a safety on the depth chart, but
see, look how wide they are in terms of the Friars. They're not playing press coverage at all. They have no threat to throw the football deep to them.
Out to the right. Look at that open field tackle. And it's a beauty by Duffy Monahan.
Really good pursuit. And I think there's just a bit of a hesitation from Tyler McGlattery. I think he's wondering where the pressure is going to come from. He's just got to make a decision to hit the hole. Didn't hit it with the most conviction that he's had throughout the course of the season. It's a long 3rd and 8 coming. It's a big loss, too.
I think you need to get at least 5 to consider going for it. No, they're down 13, but
yeah, I'm not sure you go for it if you get, unless you're with it. Again, this goes back to 4th and 2 and under. The metrics may tell you, yeah, go for it, but I think this is a very conservative offense here. Try to make sure they don't get this kid away from them.
Here come the cowbells at Triton College Stadium. Pitch and catch. Even if it was caught, probably would have been a yard short. Intended, targeted, dropped. Maximilian Gemelli.
Well, Max Gemelli's got to hang onto the football there. He knows it. And they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, you got no choice. It's 4th and 7 at your own 37. If it was at midfield, maybe, but
again, having it say 4th and 2, or that would have been 4th and 1 at their own 44. I'm not sure the conventional wisdom says go for it there either.
Yeah, I just seen it so much this season.
Yep. You see more risk takers nowadays with the analytics telling you.
Got to have the personnel to execute in those situations, though. Got to have better personnel than them to execute. Punt, it's a line drive kick. Tomzak yells out poison. This time it takes a friendly Fenwick roll to the 32.
Okay, that's fine. At this point, though, the Rockets have got to find a way to turn the get the turnover that they need. And for Jamin Williams and for the Thies guys, this is their time to shine, to really take control of this football game. The Friars, they've looked like the better team all afternoon here. I think that the mix of run and pass here going to put themselves in position if they can continue to move the chains.
Burlington with a 7-game winning streak. That's the longest since 2006 when they had a 10-game winning streak. School record for wins, 13 back in 1952.
It's 11. It was 11. They were 13. Well, the school record winning streak, yes.
Oh, school record 13-game winning streak. Here goes Jake Thies. One man to beat. He's gone. Touchdown. 68 yards. And the fat lady might be warming up her vocal cords.
That is a big hole up the middle. Credit the Friar offensive line for moving some of the big guys out of the way. The Rockets' pressure has come on the edge more often than not, and I think they've figured out how to go up the middle and attack this Rocket defense. Big-time play, big-time momentum switch for Fenwick.
Are we allowed to have Jake Thies at the postgame show in back-to-back weeks? We had him last week. 68-yarder, though. It's hard to keep him out of it, right? Snap is there, as was the kick. Flag on the play.
Took too long to get going, but, boy, this Fenwick team is fun to watch. They've got the big play capability.
All right, well, it's half the distance to the goal now because it's offside on
you
Burlington.
Think about it.
I don't know, does 28-7 matter as much as 27-7?
It might. There have been times where the Rockets' kicking game has been shaky, and I think they're going to think about it.
If you don't get the two-point conversion,
yep, they are going to go for two.
Well, they've dominated running the ball all day.
If you don't go for two, it doesn't matter because it's still a 3-possession game here.
Well, it looked like, did the kick get off before the offside? If so, you could have declined and allowed the kick. Anyways, they're going to go for two. Ball at the 1-yard line because it's half the distance to the goal.
That's a dead ball penalty. That's why.
Oh, high throw, complete. Everything's coming up Friars today, 28-7. We'll take a quick break. It's 28-7 Friars here on the NHS Network. Was that 18? Yeah.
Yeah, 18.
I didn't want to say 10. Yeah, it's Will Hosty.
Whew. They're good.
Not over yet, but pretty close.
It's over. It's over.
After this break, bring it back, Ashley. Oh, you didn't go to break? Oh, never mind. 28-7. All Friars today. Will Hosty on the two-point conversion. And I'm wondering what Battaglia is talking to the ref here. Did you catch what happened right now?
No, I didn't. We got both coaches on the field, though.
Cam Rutland on the field.
And the captains are there, too. This is unusual.
So Rutland, the Fenwick captain.
I'm wondering if there's a talking to being had by the officials.
Benjamin Holton.
I don't know how chippy it's been out there. Obviously, frustration happens in a football game. I do like this, though. This is good officiating. This is why you have captains, and you use them in this light. Is proactive more than reactive. We see too many incidents go viral in our society today. If there's an issue on the field, the captains need to settle it. And the coaches are out there right now, too. Everyone's getting on the same page. I really like how they're handling this. But, again, I'm not really sure what it's about. That's just speculation on what we might be seeing.
Yeah, because when this game gets worse and worse in terms of score, you could see some chippiness.
Yeah, you see the head coach for the Fenwick Friars basically saying no more.
Yeah,
Matt Battaglia wants no more conversation. And I think that's really what that's about.
Just talking back to the refs on calls.
Either to the officials or, black talk to black, white talk to white. That's what the officials always say.
Well, regardless, after all that, it's 28-7.
I think that's a really good piece of officiating. They don't talk about in today's world. It's hard enough being an official, but when you have a good stoppage in play to have a quick conversation to say, hey, bring your captain out here. We're going to talk about this. Really, really smart.
Anyways, 28-7, and yeah, I mean, it's.
Well, at this point, if you're the Rockets, you don't have to throw the ball, but you have to think about throwing the ball a little more here and try and stretch the field and get down. But you've got to be able to move the chains and move the football, and they just haven't shown the big play offense today.
That was the worry coming into this one. They didn't score a lot of points in their first 2 playoff
games. Well, when you're playing a team like Fenwick, and whether it's Fenwick or Nazareth, at this level, you cannot get behind the 8 ball in terms of the scoreboard, and that's exactly what the Rockets have done, and the possibility of that was always there. But they've got to be careful and knowing that, and that's why you have to have the big play capability. Seen it in other weeks, but this is a different animal when you're going against a Friar defense like this one.
It's their first 8-1 season since 2006. Over the middle, flag on the play, and that'll help out the Rockets as it's going to be probably pass interference against Fenwick.
I'm not sure I've seen a more casual dropping of the flag as a right there.
Carter, you might not remember this, but there was a Browns game in 2000 where the flag accidentally hit Courtney Brown in the eye. So maybe it was that, making sure you don't hit the player in the eye.
It's just that's a flag. Hang on a sec. I'm going to get it out, and then I'm just going to drop it right in front of you. But no, it wasn't pass interference. It's illegal use of hands because it's of how close it was to the line of scrimmage.
That'll be a first down for Burlington. Well, Parter, you got to get 21 points to tie it. And if you don't score quickly, do you consider an onside kick even though it's only the third quarter?
I think you do. And I think the problem is because your defense hasn't been able to stop them from big plays at this point.
70 yards to go for a TD. Field goal does you no good. Rolls outside the pocket. Pitch and catch to his big tight end, and it was right on target to Matthew Bending.
And the joy of having Bending the size that he is at 6'5", 240 is that he can get out in space a little bit, and he can be a big weapon. He's been a big weapon at times. That's the kind of field position flip you need a little bit for the Rockets to get going here, but the tempo's got to pick up here. I know you still have 8 minutes left in the third, but you like to be deliberate with your offense when you can.
Time for Arnold. He'll take off, gets to the sideline, and pushed out by Murphy.
Boy, give the Rockets credit. I mean, understanding that the Rockets are going to be throwing the ball, and Fenwick can pin their ears back and rush. No pressure at all. Arnold had a lot of time to work with.
The clock and the score is your friend, and you don't feel any kind of uneasiness on defense with Arnold passing the ball. Obviously, you don't want to give up a touchdown, ideally, if you're Fenwick, but if it takes them an eternity to do so.
Now I think you have an opportunity to run the football a little bit.
Fakes the handoff, line drive pass, right on target, still on his feet. One man to beat, down the sideline.
Short.
Just a yard short. Touchdown saving tackle by Fran Madden, but a nice run after the catch by Maximilian Gemelli. This game ain't over yet. You score here.
You feel a little bit differently, yes, for sure, but you got to punch it in for 6. And
is it tush-push time?
Well, that's not really in the playbook at this point, but when you have a Landon Arnold out there, you can run a simple quarterback sneak, and he can power through here. This is where the communication with his center up front is going to make a big difference.
Is it the old Tom Brady play? First to goal at the 1. Under shotgun formation right now. Little pistol look. Up the middle, close. No signal yet.
I think he's short.
Touchdown,
oh, wow.
Burlington.
I did not think he got in.
The fans agree with you. Some boos and not friendly sayings from the fans, but touchdown awarded for the Rockets.
I just think that's a big call from a clock standpoint, because if he doesn't get in, at least another 30 run off, and you got to start thinking about that even this early. Well, now things change a little bit for the Rockets in terms of what they can do defensively. The urgency to get off the field isn't as high, but it's going to be there. 2-score game feels a lot different.
Kick is up, and it is good. PAT's good. We'll take a break. 28-14 in favor of the Friars.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
So 28-14, Burlington back in the game after Maximilian Gemelli with an excellent run after the catch and then a 1-yard touchdown run. And we'll see if Burlington wants to be aggressive here with an onside kick or if they'll kick it deep.
Yeah, I mean, you got a hands team up front lines all bunched together. Ball rolls off the tee. That's the kind of wind we're dealing with today.
And partner, we saw this earlier in the playoffs. On 2 different occasions, Jacobs was called for kicking the ball too high.
I think you're early enough now where you can kick it deep and just be fine. But you really have to trust your defense, and they've got to get off the field. It's returnable.
Short kick. And here come the Friars. Pushed out of bounds. Pretty decent return, but couldn't get to the 20 as it was returned by Tomczak.
Yeah, the noise over on the other sideline is palpable, and you can get the feeling as the Central Rocket fans have lined the fence all the way to the other side there. A big turnout, but they know they can get a stop here, and it's going to be a different feeling.
It's been all Jake Thies. Jamin Williams has not done a lot today except for running the ball.
And this is where I do think if you're Fenwick, you think about throwing the football here and getting up and down the seams a bit because of the fact that they're going to key in on the run. And just look how much they spread you out a little bit here as the Rockets with soft coverage. 2 deep safeties.
Williams in the pocket over the middle. Complete to Cameron Garrett. First and 10 and more for the Friars.
See, and there's just that fear of going deep, and for the Rockets, there's just too much cushion for Sam Maglaris. The senior is just giving up too much cushion on that. He's stuck in the slot there.
A little bit of a diagonal look at wide receiver. 3 to the right. 1 to the left.
Right.
There's Thies again. Got to find a way to stop him. How do you do it if you're the Rockets?
I mean, the problem is they've got you spread out. So at this point, with 3 running backs or three receivers out to a near side, 1 to the far side, and your safeties having to go over the top to help because of the threat of downfield plays, that takes somebody out of the middle exchange there, and that creates a matchup problem for the run.
2nd and 4 at the 49. Time for Williams. He's going to go deep with it. Overshot his intended target, trying to get it to Watts. 3rd and 4. Partner, looks like Jamin's a little off today.
Well, I mean, the wind took that one a little bit too, and, you know, that's just a run down field and try and get underneath it. I'll give a lot of credit to Ben Atai, the sophomore that's out there playing corner.
That's advantage Burlington. That stops the clock, and this is not a give-me 3rd down conversion on 3rd and 4.
No, you can think about, you know, going for it here, but you give up a tremendous amount of field position for a team that can suddenly move the football here. If you don't get it, you may have to punt it. Right at midfield.
Williams, quick pass to Garrett. He gets it. About a yard or two after the first down marker.
And that's all Fenwick's got to do as they continue to work on that flare route to the outside. The dump-off pass is allowing them the matchups that they want in space to get just enough, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. Keep moving the football down the field and move those chains.
They're going to bunch the wide receivers on the right. Williams, quick pass to Tomzak. As he goes out of bounds, the man to force him out for the Rockets was number 1 and Gavin Bergman.
Well, Ben Hulkeren on the coverage there. And he almost, not flat-footed, but kind of waiting for the receiver to come to him, giving up yards in the process. If he can kind of maybe a couple steps closer, we're talking about 2nd and 5, not 2nd and 2.
You wonder, would this game be different if not for those encroachment penalties against the Rockets? Another hard count from Williams. Drop-off pass to Garrett. And he's forced out of bounds. Good job getting low on the tackle, though, by Parker Oxier.
Yeah, I don't think that really matters at this point. I think what you're looking at is a better football team that's been able to execute just well. They continue to work the short side of the field, and the Rockets haven't been able to make the kind of adjustments they want to. They've flipped formations a couple of times to get the strength on the near side, but it hasn't worked.
It'll be a false start against the Friars.
Yeah, it just looked discombobulated from the start.
Say 14? So that'd be on Cameron Garrett if you said 14.
It's a killer, too. When you see false starts from a receiver, all you have to do is look down the line to see the ball.
It happens, though. I remember that AFC Championship game where the defensive end for the Chiefs lined up offside and it cost him an interception against Tom Brady.
But it's worse on the offensive side because you know the snap count.
Yeah. 1st and 15 at the 32.
See if the Rockets can get some pressure. Again, they don't blitz very much.
Handoff up the middle. Got a couple. 2nd and long coming up. Substitution for the Friars. Back into the game, Logan Schultz. Taking a seat will be Jackson Woods.
Nick Scolari, the defensive coordinator for the Rockets, talking to him before the game. Again, just kind of reconfirming the fact that just not a lot of blitz tactics here, but when they're keying on the run here and you know it, the blitz can help you in terms of bringing pressure up the middle.
2nd and 12, ball on the 29. High snap, Williams with time, dangerous pass, and it was almost picked off. And was almost picked off by David Odawa.
And pressure came that time. Liam Schultz came flying through on the backside. So a will linebacker blitz there was really forcing the hand because it forced the matchups back to the near side of the field. It's a big play here.
Need a couple more yards to help out Noah Sir. Almost offside. No flag yet. Jake Thies and Jamin Williams not happy about it.
Never seen everything just completely stop like that.
High snap. Williams takes off.
Wow.
And I think he got it.
He did. And
you
know what's, and the reason that worked is because, again, they went back to that same blitz package from the left side, from the near side of the field, and it left everything open in the middle there. You know, when you have blitz packaging, it turns into man coverage, and that means it usually leaves the quarterback wide open. Williams understood that, found his way into space.
Partner, why are they having so much trouble with Williams' cadence? There's another flag.
I'm not sure what the penalty is for.
It looked like they weren't offside.
Did he move the football? No foul in the play.
Officiating's been very good.
You know,
a couple of times it's been a little iffy.
Well, the clap cadence sometimes is tough, and when you watch it on film a lot, you get into a rhythm, and then when they change that up, you're out of that rhythm.
$15 yards to go from the end zone and quite possibly the knockout blow. High snap. Williams over the middle, right on target. Raphael Stewart, 34-14. Jamin Williams with a key touchdown pass.
Nice play, nice route by Raphael Stewart, but that is a tremendous ball by Jamin Williams. A laser right on target. Big time offensive effort for the Friars tonight against one of the best defenses that the Fox Valley Conference has seen in almost 50 years. You knew they would give up some points, the Rockets did, but I don't think they thought 34-35 would be on the list.
Well, I predicted 42-14, and I'm 7 points away from my prediction. We'll take a break. It's all Friars here at Triton College Stadium. Shit.
Ugh.
Yeah, I thought they should have. Well,
This high school gym used to be packed most nights.
I thought they should have tried the onside.
Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
Kyle Smith alongside Matthew Rodewald, 35-14, as Matt looks for score updates. Winner of this game is on the road unless Burlington Central plays against Lake Zurich.
Yeah, that's the only sequence in which they would be back at home at Rocket Hill. Montini with a big lead on Coal City down in 4A. Providence, 2-touchdown lead on Washington in 5A. Down in New Lenox. They're in the third quarter. Lake Zurich with a 21-9 lead still on Nazareth down in LaGrange Park.
21-9 in favor.
Still 21-9.
Of Lake Zurich.
They're 8-minute mark of the third quarter. Downers Grove North, 21-3 on Lincoln Way West.
That's
They're just
surprising.
Starting the second half there. Everything else seems to be tonight in the upper classes. That was some late contact there. I was wondering how long it would take for that flag to come out. That was good coverage till right at the very end.
Yeah, they were trying to get it to Samuel Ames. But you know, if you're Fenwick, you're okay with that because you want them to work for it, and you know it's a team that doesn't like to pass the ball very often.
Well, they can throw the ball, but I just think against this defense is something that they really don't want to do. And at this point, they don't have a choice, and so it's allowing them in some looks that they hadn't seen or didn't expect to see. The pressure from the Friars is fascinating. How will that kind of counter what the Rockets want to do offensively? But they do have some guys who can catch the ball and move a little bit, as we saw just in that last drive. They go back to the big package.
First and 10 at the 35. Fakes the jet sweep. Up the middle. Gets a couple of yards. And a combo tackle. Murphy leading the way on it. Williams finished it. Parter, who do you think matches up better for Lake Zurich if Lake Zurich pulls off the upset, Fenwick or Burlington?
Oh, I think Fenwick matches up with a better opportunity to get down to normal. I think when you get a team like Lake Zurich has a very, very good defense. I think better than this Central defense has produced throughout the course of the year. And I just think there are also more offensive weapons for Lake Zurich and company. I just think, sometimes it's where the game is played. I think Lake Zurich's just used to playing in random places. I just think Fenwick, though, is the better team of the four. It's still out there.
That one's downfield. There were two receivers running deep. The intended target was Ames, and also running deep on the play was Livingston. Time running out for Burlington Central, 3:05 to go in the third quarter.
Just another third down and long here coming up. And Ames had a big touchdown catch in the Libertyville game where they had not done anything offensively throughout the course of the game, and then in the final drive down by 3 suddenly found a 40-yard touchdown out of their back pocket to survive the first-round matchup. So, again, as a Libertyville team at 5-4, one of the better teams they'd faced all year because they have played good competition. They're getting their taste of that here in week 3 of the postseason.
We're in week 12 overall. Quick pass. And goes east and west with it. Nice tackle by Tommy Thies. Partner, If the receiver in Bergman had just run straight up with it, he might have gotten the first.
I understand what Bergman was doing, but he's got to understand he got to get up the field there. And what he was trying to do is work his way back and get some blocks to kind of wash his way towards him. But Fenwick's defense is too fast and too quick to the football to let you be able to do that. And so instead of 4th down and say 1 or 2, now we're looking at 4th down and 7 if you're a Rockets fan.
This could be Central's last chance to get back into the game. 4th and 7 at their own 38. They got to get to the 45. One in the slot. Clean backfield. Pump fake from Arnold. Here comes the pressure. Rolls back into the pocket.
Good
Look
block.
at that hit off his back foot. No one's going to catch it, but an excellent block to keep the play alive by Brady Williamson.
Doing everything they can to keep the play and their season alive, and just not enough.
Look, if Burlington loses today, they've had a fantastic year. A lot of good things up and coming for the program. This is just a different animal in the Fenwick.
This is a program that's on the up and coming, in the Fox Valley, and you've seen it coming for the last couple of years. A couple of 4 and 5 teams really close to breaking through. Finally, last year you saw the breakthrough, and they went up to Prairie Ridge on the road and put 52 on the board against the Prairie Ridge team that was ranked in the top 5 of the state at the time. That caught the attention of everybody else, and they hung with a good Geneva team, and they've been able to carry it over this year. I think that's probably what's been the most impressive for this senior group, is they were able to take the pressure from a year ago's unheralded success and actually turn it into something deeper into the postseason by getting into the quarterfinals. And so there's a lot to build on. But if I know this group, I tell you what, they're going to be in the weight room on Monday if this thing holds up here, and they'll be going back to work for 2026.
Fenwick wins. We talked about Lake Zurich beating Nazareth right now. Lake Zurich, very well known for defense over the years. Jack Sandsborn, who played for the Bears, went to Lake Zurich. Now he's on the Cowboys.
One of my favorite players over the last couple of years up at Lake Zurich was Tyler Erkman, who is up in North Dakota playing at FCS football. Just a real downhill guy.
Look at this.
He was a good running back, but a good defensive player, just a tough, hard-nosed kid. The Erkman kids, Bryce and Tyler. I think Bryce is a senior on that team this year, but that just kind of represents and embodies the hard-nosed toughness that the Bears program's had over the years. And there's a lot of those kind of Erkman-type players, both at Fenwick and at Central. And Fenwick's just got too much. They've got too much talent. They've got too many skill players, and they've got the same kind of size that can equal what the Central Rockets want to do today, and they're showing it for you out here.
When you've got good players at the skill position, as Jake Thies took a shot on the handoff. But when you've got good skill position players like Jake Thies, Will Tomzak, Cameron Garrett, Raphael Stewart, it's just such an advantage over Burlington, who's not known for their skill position players.
No, I mean, they had some skill guys these last couple of years. This is just kind of a dip in terms of their skill, deep threat type of skills. They got a couple of running backs that have been nice. I like what Christian Livingston has come. He came off a horrific leg injury last year to have a wonderful season this year. We've seen Sam Ames at times be able to do some things, and Jameli's been able to have some breakaway speed at times. This is just a step up in class in who they play each and every year, and that's the thing when you play in the Fox Valley. You don't know what you're going to be like when you get to the postseason.
Tomzak down the sideline, driven out of bounds, touchdown, save and tackle, on the frustration showing its way right now by Gavin Bergman. It's a late push after the tackle, but first and goal for the Friars, and looking to definitely put this one away if they score here.
Yeah, they come at you in waves. They come at you in a lot of different ways. It's one thing to stop Williams, and then you got Thies to try and figure out. When you can't stop Thies, you got Tomzak getting out in the chain, out in the flat, and trying to make you tackle him in the open field, and so that's why this Fenwick team is so good. Watching that Mount Carmel game, it showed me a lot of what Fenwick has in terms of talent and the ability to stay with some of the best programs in the state of Illinois. They're going to be a tough out here the rest of the way.
First and goal at the 4. Tommy Thies will take the handoff as Tommy gets inside the 3.
Keep in mind, Fenwick hasn't turned the ball over today. I don't know if they did last week against Rolling Meadows either. And so when you don't turn the ball over and you don't make mistakes, you will find yourself in position to win. And if you're going against Lake Zurich, you have to find that way. When you're going against East St. Louis, you're going to be feeling pretty good because you know they're going to turn the ball over. They're going to commit penalties. If you don't make mistakes, you're going to be in position to win.
Well, the fourth quarter coming up next. It's all Friars. Second and goal to 3 when we come back here on the IHSA Network.
Oh, yeah, split the pot. I should have got in on that.
I didn't have any cash. Big plans for tonight?
No. I was hoping to have another game, but not today. DGN?
I think I texted you, but you didn't get back to me, so I figured you had plans.
No, I was working on some other stuff, and it didn't work.
Well,
so I just kind of let it ride.
Because we're at Bolingbrook.
I'm moving into an apartment, so I need to probably focus on that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Probably another running play here. Jake Thies back on the field. Kyle Smith alongside Matt Rodewald. Excellent season for Burlington, but they're going to come up a couple wins short today.
Yeah, Thies, only at 15 or so carries for close to 200 yards. He's been everything is advertised today.
High snap. Thies up the middle. Just has an eye for the end zone. A little bit short.
Yeah, go back to the halftime numbers and look at Jamin Williams' numbers, 9 of 10. 1 incompletion in that first half for 125 yards. I mean, when you get the kind of balance of a 200-yard rusher and a 150-yard passer, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Look, Fenwick was on a mission. Jamin got hurt late last season. They went to Hosty. He had that great game on the day his dad unfortunately passed away. But he just wasn't good enough in the postseason to get him over the top against Owen Lansu and Downers Grove North. As a timeout called by the Friars, we'll take a timeout as well. You're watching the Friars against the Rockets here on the NFHS Network.
Still, yes.
Still 21-9 in favor of Lake Zurich over Nazareth. Meanwhile, our game is 35-14 in favor of the Fenwick Friars. It's been a fun one, especially if you're a Friar fan. For the Burlington fans that expected more out of their team, well, it's just a tough Fenwick team. If they score a touchdown here, that's 3 straight games of 40 points.
This is one of those situations where I think the Rockets understood the task at hand here, and they know that's a good football team in black out there. I just think that they're learning how good of a football team that is. And, for Fenwick, playing last week, they got to avoid the weather, and mentally they got to avoid the exhaustion of having to play in that weather. I think that took a toll on the Rockets coming in.
Up the middle, Jamin Williams, touchdown! And the exclamation point on a dominating and impressive win today for the Friars.
It just shows the balance that they have when they can sit there and go into a quarterback keeper because they have a running back that can, go up the gut on the RPO, and just a mixture of run pass and the ability to kind of work the middle of the football field and then work the edges on the flare passes. This is a well-rounded team.
Kick is up, and it is good. We'll take a break. It's all Friars, 42-14 over the Rockets. (42-14), 11:07 to go. As more score updates coming up soon. Who do you got, Mount Carmel or Lincoln Way East?
No, I got Steve Susi asking me score updates, so I'm getting him some updates. Everyone, of the commentators, the analysts, are all driving to games or going somewhere. So he's in the car right now asking me about Lake Zurich. And they got to the end of the third quarter at Lake Zurich. Is still with a 21-9 lead down there in LaGrange Park. So at this point, it's going to be Fenwick up there.
All right. A good kick return, trying to get to midfield. Will that be a late hit?
I don't think so.
It was Vibrock on the return. Was he still in bounds when the hit was made? Look, this game is probably over, but still, I mean, you want 15 yards if you can get it.
I thought that was a clean hit when you're looking at it, just trying to drive him out of bounds. And obviously, when you're falling down, you can't stop your momentum. But that's a nice, positive statement to get a return like that, to get your offense some good field position here in a game like this. At the very least, you want to try and continue to move the football, get points, get stops as best you can here. Obviously, the urgency changes a little bit, but you got to feel, you want to walk out of here feeling good.
Still in the pocket, high throw, and completed right at the sideline. Excellent catch that time by Jordan Coombs.
That was Livingston with the great catch. It's that tiptoe, that sideline. I mentioned it earlier, around homecoming of last year, he went down with a serious leg injury and was done for the year. So he had to miss all the fun of the postseason. And for him to be able to play in this postseason, again, it's still about kids, 16, 17 years old, and getting them the experiences. You have to feel good for a kid like that. It's actually out on the football field after what he went through last year.
Takes the handoff. As a quick pass, trying to get it that time to Fenwick Braden. And incomplete.
Braden, 6'2". He's a junior. He's going to be one of the guys coming back next year. And the question that you have is quarterback depth for the Rockets if you're looking to 2026. And the first guy you look at is Reese Beamer, the sophomore. I wonder if you get maybe a snap or two out here today. But, here's the thing about postseason football. For a team like Central that hasn't been in the postseason, and this is now back-to-back postseason, that's 3 extra weeks of practice for your underlevels. That's what these teams like Fenwick and Mount Carmel get to do every single year.
Oh, over the middle. Intended, targeted, dropped. Samuel Ames. And 3rd and 10 coming up.
So long story short, the idea of making the postseason is also building upon your program the opportunity to continue to practice and do game week routine as long as possible. When you're freshman and sophomore up with the varsities, after your season is over, so to speak, you get to see the juniors and seniors, how they work, how they approach their work, what they do to prepare, and honestly, how you can become a varsity player. And I think that's really important, not just at Central, but places all over the state of Illinois that haven't been in the postseason and go deep runs. It matters.
3rd and 10 at the Friar 35. And Arnold will take it himself. He is well short of the first down. Going to go for it, obviously. Parter, if this game gets away from Burlington like it's doing right now, will we see the fellow senior and Theodore Curtin take some snaps at quarterback?
You might see that. I mean, that conversation probably isn't being had yet, but I think if you don't score on this drive, I think that's where that starts to go. Again, the numbers, you look at all the guys in white over there. The growth of the district, Central as it is, you're not used to seeing that many players on the sideline for the Central Rockets. And a big 4th down just to keep the season alive in terms of mentality. And it's a good timeout.
Timeout called by head coach Brian Owisi. We'll take a timeout as well. It's a 28-point lead for the Friars. Fourth and 7, ball on the 32. The last gasp for Burlington. I mean, this game was probably over and it was 35-14, but you get a quick touchdown here, an onside kick, another quick touchdown. Well, crazier things have happened in football. That would be pretty crazy, though.
Yeah, you need perfect things to happen for you and just magic at this point. But, at this point, you got to focus on this play. 4th and 7 or 8. You've been able to throw the football a little bit these last few possessions.
A little bit low of a snap. Arnold, pressure comes. There's the sack. Zakomo Babewe. That time he gets the sack. A couple of pressures from him today. And that time, the huge tackle for loss on the quarterback.
Yeah, when it's 4th and 7 and you know they're going to throw the football, you can pin your ears back and bring a ton of pressure. And, he had no resistance whatsoever on that pursuit of the football. Just impressive from Zakomo to be able to get that free run, and that is a nasty hit that Landon Arnold took. It just makes you wonder. I mean, we've seen offensive spectacular plays from Fenwick, but you get to defense on the edge with the power and strength of a guy like Zakomo going out there. Just adds to what the possibilities could be for this Friar program.
Zakomo Babewe, 6'3", 210-pound D lineman. Are you surprised Jake Thies is out there up 28 points?
A little bit. I think maybe this is his last drive at the very least to try and put this thing away for sure. But considering how banged up these guys are at this point of the postseason, when you get a blowout, you kind of want to pull them off and give them and take the hits out of them, so to speak, so that they're not getting drilled with any unnecessary contact.
Backup running back would be Rocco Nero. Would probably not use Tommy Thies as he had that wrist issue earlier in the game.
I just really like what I see from Fenwick, and just in terms of their patience, their mix of run pass, being able to get on the edge right here.
Shovel pass to Stewart. Excellent tackle, able to trip him up. As Burlington Central's number 20 gets the tackle.
Really like Daniel Gonzalez, the junior, on the backside pursuit there.
Sam Maglaris on the tackle, 3rd and 5. It's just about running clock now if you're the Friars.
Sam Maglaris has been a nice key to this defense throughout the course of the year. And, there's a lot of seniors on this group that's going to go by the wayside, playing their last football game at this point. Not sure it's really hit them yet.
One in the backfield. A little bit high on the snap. Screen pass to Tomczak. Everything's working for the Friars.
Yeah,
running up the middle.
Noah Hedlund came in on the blitz, and he came into the wrong side, and they threw against, honestly, Williams with the play design to the backside. That's where the blitz came from. It took one person away from that matchup and able to get the first down.
48 yards away from scoring another touchdown, but at this point they just want to run out clock and hopefully none of their big guys get hurt.
Now, this is where you just take a long time in the huddle, make sure that you get the right play.
And before this game ends, we'll give you one more score update from Nazareth Academy. Jet sweep. Tackle for loss. Oh boy, that's a flag.
That's a frustration, and a second one right there. That was Gavin Bergman with some frustration on a late hit, and then Jonathan Pavilon coming in to protect his guy. He's going to get hit with the unsportsmanlike. These are going to offset. Just an update from Nazareth. It's still 21-9, but Naz just blocked the punt and has it at Lake Zurich's 44, about 6.5 to go. So that thing is far from over.
So you were right, Matt. Offsetting penalties.
Yep. You just got to let that go. I mean, you see the late hit. You know it's a late hit. You see the flag come out. That's enough. But what happens sometimes is you try and go in and protect your guy to make a statement. It's not worth the effort. It's different if it's a quarterback. I'm telling you. It's very different.
Especially if it's your 5'9" quarterback. You don't want him taking hits out of bounds like that.
Battaglia wants to clock the run. I'm not sure it does on one of those.
Well, the clock should stop anyways.
But he
on
was
the
going,
flag, and
but he was going out of bounds.
Right? Was he tackled before he was out of bounds? But anyways, there's a flag, so the flag would stop the clock anyways. Clock is still stopped. 7:34 to go. That was the right call, by the way, by the officials on the not starting the clock. Jake Thies takes off. No one's going to catch him. Possibly a top 10 player in the Chicago Catholic League. Showed it on that play.
He's just one of the best I've seen at being able to dip in and out of traffic. And, you know, and the scary part is he's just a junior. The ability to come back and do it again in a year is terrifying for teams. But, you know, it adds to the balance we've talked about. They have the ability to get the big plays, but when you have that in your arsenal, it's dangerous. Just really, really impressive effort by this Friar offense.
Kick is good. We'll take another break. It's all Friars up 49-14 on the Rockets. (49-14) under 6 minutes to go at Nazareth. Still 21-9, but they did block a punt, Matt. That game is far from over.
Yeah, and Ligzer just got the ball back after turnover on down. So about 6 minutes to go, they have the ball and a 21-9 lead. Feeling pretty good up, you know, about possibly playing in the semifinals.
Gets to the sideline. The kick returns have been very good by Central today.
Yeah, Auxier is a nice player when it comes to the kick return element of what the Rockets have had. Unfortunately, you know, for Brian Yossi, he's seen the kick return out there way too much today. But you know, Auxier, we talked about the fact on offense he's kind of that change of pace guy, a shifty guy, and you saw a good chunk of it right there. And he's going to be one of those guys they miss heading into 2026. I correct myself. He's a junior. I always forget that he's a junior. He comes across as the senior-like mentality when you talk to him. But at this point, he's going to be one of those feature guys that you see in this offense for the Rockets.
Nice pass from Arnold. Gets past the 45-yard line. Bergman trying to make up for that penalty earlier.
Nice, simple pitch and catch crossing routes. They've been able to work the little middle of the field here in this second half. You know, too little, too late. But the product of the game has allowed the middle of the field for them to open up for Landon Arnold. I always want to call him Jackson Alcorn, his predecessor from a year ago. But when you look at these numbers for the Rockets at the end of the game, they're going to be very deceptive. They've gotten a lot of yards here in this second half.
Bergman gets to the 30-yard line. The text line's open. Your favorite high school, college, or NFL memory. Text 330-957-7653. 330-957-7653. Barter was 20-7 at halftime until it wasn't. What went wrong for the Rockets in the second half?
Not so much what went wrong, other than they can't keep. You know, they weren't able to sustain enough, and you knew that'd be a possibility. But you know, for the Friars, it's just the Friars asserting themselves and taking control, doing what they wanted to do offensively. They've got one heck of a running back that's going to be featured somewhere at the next level, very, very much so. And they've been able to do what they want and just kind of a talent disparity at this point. They have way more weapons than the Central Rockets do, and they showed them off today.
So Jamin Williams' day is most likely done. They will go to the backup quarterback. Getting warmed up is Miles Hill. 2nd and 3 for Burlington. Has an injury on the field. We'll let you know who it is after this commercial break. You're watching the Rockets and the Friars here on the NFHS Network. Zoom in on the injury, Will. Make sure to mute.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
2nd and 3 at the 23. Bergerman was the injured Rocket. Hope he can come back into the game. Arnold with a clean pocket to the end zone. Underthrown, almost intercepted on the play.
Yeah, Livingston's going to want that back. He wants to go up and get it. And in that case, he waited way too long to try and let that come to him. You just can't do that. That's one of the oldest things in the book. Highest point. And he waited too long on that one and allowed the Friar defender to come underneath.
3rd and 3 at the 23. Clean pocket. Arnold, now the pressure comes. He'll roll to his right. Arnold, deep. No one home to get it. Closest receiver on the play was his wideout in Samuel Ames. 4th and goal, 4th and 3 coming up.
And it feels like 4th and goal, the way they've been attacking this. But, Arnold's facing pressure that, he hasn't really faced all year. And, he's been evading it at times. But, when you don't practice that nearly as much, when you don't have that experience, it means that the receivers aren't used to trying to free themselves up and breaking off their routes and trying to get into a soft zone to allow Arnold to find him.
Arnold waits for his injured receiver Bergerman to get back to the line of scrimmage. Has time, quick pass, they'll get the first. Still on his feet. And gets to the 10-yard line. Sandwich on the play, but not before. He can gain a lot of yards as it was completed to Wagner Vibrock.
A really nice play, finding him right over the middle. 3 receivers on the strong side. They've been able to find that middle here in the second half.
Under 6.5 to go, all Friars today. On his back foot, Morgan went for the ball, and it was out of his outstretched arms. Intended receiver on the play was Ames. 2nd and 10 at the 10.
Yeah, Morgan with some pressure. It was clean all the way to the end there, and you got to give these Friar defenders, especially in the secondary, a lot of credit. They've not really allowed free releases. There have been some big plays, but a lot of catch and runs at the very least.
Friars, assuming they win this one, 2 wins away from the state title. Arnold again, just had to get it off quickly. Tommy Thies with the pressure. He hasn't had to do a lot because everybody on Fenwick has contributed today.
As a Como coming in there as a jailbreak, Arnold's not going to risk it. That throw is simply just to get out of there to live to fight another day.
Well, you're not going to win this one if you're a Burlington player, but score for pride's sake. Give the fans something to cheer about on the.
Yeah, if this senior offense understands this might be the last time they're on the field together, and so they want to end it on a good note. See if they work to the left side of the field against the strong side.
Pressure comes, screen pass. Nice job of baiting a tackler. Close to the goal line, but Murphy was there on the tackle. It was completed to Livingston.
I don't think Livingston saw it for a second. I think it landed in his back pocket. But they were looking to try and get all the attention on the strong side, ended up with the backside screen there. Let's see if they can get on the board here. One more for the road if you're a Rocket fan.
No one in the backfield and
play.
A timeout on the field, but Tagley called his last
He
timeout.
sprinted 25 yards onto the field to make sure everybody saw it.
We'll take another timeout. It's all Friars here at the NHS Network. 4th and goal at the 3. Possibly the last chance of the season for Burlington to score their final touchdown of the season. It's going to be a reverse, make it a double reverse, flea flicker, touchdown pass. The bag of tricks from head coach Brian Oosi, as it was Ames over to his quarterback at Arnold.
Well, that was the connection in the end of the in the end of the Libertyville game, but it was the other way. That's a just let's have some fun. I love it. I love it. And you know what? If you're Yost, you're probably over there laughing and giggling. So you can see some handshakes and hugs on the other sideline.
And if you're Fenwick, you just shake it off and be like, well, we're winning this one, going to the semis.
See, the worry is sometimes you don't want to put that on film. But there's no reason to hold that in the bag anymore. And so the recognition was there. So they got a timeout to set it up, and it worked out pretty well for them. Good for the Rockets.
So we all know the Philly special. Now, was Nick Foles lined up correctly on the play? Because there are people that have meticulously looked at that Super Bowl play. I don't know if you've read into this.
I never have.
But, no.
I've never cared to dig in that far.
No.
So.
But Nick Foles, was he one of the greatest quarterbacks the Bears have ever had?
God, I hope not. Keep in mind that play you're talking about. I think most of these kids were 8 years old when that happened.
Right, yeah. That was kind of the Philly special, but not really because it was a double reverse.
I know. But to run it that way, I mean, let's keep in mind a play like that they've run in practice probably once a week for the last 12 weeks, and they finally said, let's do it. Why not? We're down 49-14 in a playoff game. We know our season's over. So, for Landon Arnold, the last play for him, for all the touchdown passes we could see. Oh,
that's got to go 10.
Yep, they got it.
Recovered by the Rockets.
So you'd think that might be the farewell for the offense, but not to be.
So they stay aggressive, and for Fenwick, that's something you have to learn from. For the offense, for the kicking team, it has to go 10 yards. The return team can return it whenever they want.
Yeah.
So if it's a short kick, just get that ball. Go after it.
That was about as good as you can do it. I mean, that went 12 yards and bounced twice.
Right.
I don't know if our audience can quite hear it, but I am certainly amused at the Fenwick faithful being hypercritical, up 28 points here in a quarterfinal game. That is the most amusing thing I'll hear all day.
It's the Belichickian philosophy, right? No days off. And almost an interception. It was good coverage from Fenwick. It was the defensive back in Odin Furjak delivering the coverage.
Well, at this point, do you have a halfback pass you can pull out, or maybe another double reverse and get somebody out deep? I mean, if you turn this into a street ball, it's just more than anything else a good time had by all. But you'd be more than happy to turn this score a little tighter than it probably would have been.
Maybe a double flea flicker. Second and 10 at the 48.
It's a different formation we've seen throughout the day.
Double coverage downfield.
Did he catch that? Oh.
Excellent coverage. It was delivered by Fran Madden.
He may have had that for a minute.
He's wearing the new style helmet. The intended target for the Rockets was Bennick Braden. 3rd and 10. What else can you say? This Friar team, regardless who they play, Nazareth or Lake Zurich, it's going to be tough for either team to beat the Friars.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see why, because they see balance all over the field. It can do everything well, whether it's run the ball, pass the ball, and, just playing defense, too. They've been able to make sure that they've kept the big play weapon from really happening. Nazareth just blocked another punt. That's the second blocked punt of the day. And they now have the ball at the Lake Zurich 30 with 3.5 minutes to go, still 21-9. So that's not done yet.
Our 602 texter, Arizona zip code, asks us, is Jake Thies the best non-quarterback player in the state right now in the current playoffs?
That is a good question. I'm going to go with no. I don't have a counter on that. But he's up there. I think when you look at the talent level that you see down at East St. Louis, there's so many skill position players that you have to defend against.
Pressure comes, sack from Tommy Deese, the future Red Hawk. Whether it's Jake Deese or Tommy Deese, it's been a problem for Burlington.
Yeah, and again, 4th down, ears pinned back, pressure coming, and the Rockets had a hard time stopping that rush.
Well, Barter, still, for Central to finish the year 10-2, excellent season. This was their 3rd ever playoff game at an alternate site.
Yeah, they don't play neutral sites very often, and I call it a neutral site, but it's really, this is where they played their home games. And, it's just, if you're a Central fan, it's nice to have this be a regular thing, November football. And, I think, there's more of it to come for them. And I think there'll be the culture's changing. It went from a hope to an expectation. I think that's kind of what you want in the coaching staff. And Brian Yossi's got this thing going, and his staff has continued to work the feeder programs for that area out in Elgin. And again, for folks who don't know where it is, Central is the offices are out in Burlington, but all the schools kind of have Elgin addresses. There's 5,200 students in the district, and 85% of them come from the western part of Elgin. So the feeder programs are rolling and thorough. The Central Youth Football League, among those, the middle school programs are top notch, and the facilities are great too. And that's the thing is that when you get everything moving, in that direction, you're going to have some success. And so. Also, the advantage they have, Kyle, is that people don't know where they are. And when you play a road game out there, I could hear this from a lot of Libertyville fans that drove out there. We're like, wait, where are we again? I mean, it's off Route 47. It's about 10 minutes from Elgin. That's it. But all of a sudden you find yourself kind of felt like you're in the middle of nowhere. And there's an advantage that these kids know they have of that environment. That's an intimidating environment for sure.
So they're going to finish with 19 wins in their last 2 seasons, the most all time. It breaks their school record. No, sorry, if they won today, that would be 19 wins, so they have 18.
It's still 18. It ties that mark. There's a stretch of 2003, 2004, and 2006, so they started the season 11-0, got to the quarterfinals and lost. And then for a couple of years, they played Driscoll in the quarterfinals before Driscoll closed. But you get the idea that, there's that feeling that, hey, we're doing fine, and then we run into the Catholic League power, and then we got a problem, or the Suburban Catholic Conference power, and then you got a problem. So they've got to figure out a way to overcome that, and that's just continuing to get reps and get better, and they're going to get back into the weight room, I'm sure, on Monday. These juniors are going to try and figure out a way to get to the semifinals for the first time in school history.
Jonathan Pavillon is the injured Friar as he's able to get back to his feet on his own accord.
Putting no weight on that right leg.
They use him in the red zone, but regardless of his ability to play football, you just hope that if he can't play next Saturday, he's able to not be in crutches and trying to tough it out right now. But yeah, you're right, Matt. He can't put any weight on that foot.
Going to take his time getting off the field, and I don't blame him at this point. And, as you also see, just the coaching staff and training staff. You see Matt Battaglia out there in a T-shirt in mid-November. So we've crossed 70 degrees.
Do it, man. I overdressed. I've got the coat and the.
I dressed for the wind. I got a long sleeve on just in case.
Right. Yeah.
So Nazareth has scored, and they recovered the onside kick with 2.5 to go. Oh, wow. So they now have the ball down 21-16, and Nazareth might squeak out of there with it.
So you said
just remarkable. 2.5 left. So that thing's not done.
Well, remember, even if they score the touchdown, you got to get the 2-point conversion. Otherwise, Lake Zurich could win it on a field goal.
Yeah, and that's we'll see how that one finishes up.
If only the NFL could recover more onside kicks, but that's just never going to happen, right?
Yeah.
2nd and 9.
Don't give up touchdowns.
Right. Up, the backup quarterback fumbles the ball, rolls outside the pocket. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
That kind of day for the Friars today. They put in the backup. He fumbles the ball, rolls outside the pocket. Completes it to Nico Scudiero. It's all Friars today.
Of course. That is that Friar magic for sure. I really like the poise of Miles Hill in dealing with that. And, bad snaps happen. They especially in the shotgun, they're going to happen. You get a wind out there like you're dealing with today, 20, 30 miles an hour. It's a crosswind, but it's going to trip you up a bit. But the instincts for him were to pick up the ball, get rolling out of the pocket, and start surveying the field. And, boy, he found the right receiver.
Matt, who were your 3 stars of the game brought to you by the IHSA Network?
3 stars of this one. It's really hard to go against, what Thies did. Just outstanding work for him. I really liked his poise and his ability to kind of shift in and out of traffic. The offensive line did a great job for him. I like what Jamin Williams did today. Just showing his shiftiness and getting out of the pocket and dealing with some pressure early on, and he was able to get used to that. I'm also going to give one to Landon Arnold. Just really liked what he was able to do, in trying to get the Rockets back into this one. It wasn't always a blowout. It was sort of kind of, can they stay connected more than anything else? But, Arnold's a tough kid, probably going to have 100 yards on the ground today. And he's probably going to have some more than 100 in terms of passing as well. But, just like to see the senior go out, not only, throwing a touchdown, but catching one as well.
Rocco Nero on the carry as he got to the 21.
I'm watching Nazareth just to see what's happening there. Still 21-16 as far as I know. We've got folks in the press box up here. They're asking me to find out. And I don't blame them. They want to know where they're going next week.
Is it because there are better pizza places in LaGrange than Lake Zurich?
You don't know that. Have you been to Lake Zurich? Lake Zurich's got a fine cuisine array of choices. They got all the waterfront places for sure.
Nero gets past the 15.
They got a lake right in the middle of town.
I haven't been to Lake Zurich in a couple of years. I did like it when I was up there, though.
Naz is taking the lead with 1:23 to go. 24-21 Nazareth with 1:23 to go. They got the 2-point conversion as well, so Lake Zurich's got.
Well, that's a big deal because Nazareth is the #1 overall seed in 6A.
Either way, Fenwick's got to go on the road, but it's a shorter drive. Go down to Nazareth.
People that are watching, especially if you're a Central fan, if you're wondering where Fenwick is, it's in Oak Park.
Right.
Not too far from Oak Park, River Forest.
I don't know the drive from there to here. For me being a western suburban guy, it's just all these towns run together. River Grove, Oak Park, River Forest.
What's your alma mater, by the way?
Mine? Oh, I'm a Geneva guy.
Oh, that's right. You're a Viking.
Yeah, I lost a lot of football games in my day. I'll tell you that.
They don't lose them anymore, though, especially last year.
No, they were good before I got there. They were good after I got there. Put it that way. So the common denominator is me being there.
You were just the unlucky charm.
Me and my classmates, none of us were any good.
High snap. Rolls to his right. And this is the third quarterback they've used on the day. They do this when they blow out opponents, as it's now Tommy Quinn at QB.
Well, the value of this is playing on a Saturday afternoon. I mean, the other thing is, we're so used to Friday night football, is when you get to Saturdays in November, you're dealing with the sun, you're dealing with the angles of the sun, you're dealing with sight lines that are a little bit different. Trying to find the football is strange, and so for a lot of these teams that go to a Saturday game, it's certainly a worrisome thing. I can tell you that the Central Rockets were worried coming into this one about the idea of playing a Saturday 1 p.m. game. They hadn't played a Saturday afternoon game in probably 3 years, and then prior to that, it had been another decade prior to that. So these kids are not used to playing in the daylights, so to speak.
And for Burlington, that's something they're going to have to work on, because if they want to advance in the playoffs, eventually they're going to have to play private teams, private Catholic teams coming into today, all-time 1-7 against private schools in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they've never had success against private school teams, and that's going to add to it today. They haven't beaten a private school team in the postseason since 1990, and unfortunately that streak's going to continue on for them today. But, boy, Fenwick's awfully good, and they're really a true state championship contender from what we saw today.
And I don't believe Fenwick has to snap it again.
I think they will, but elect not to. They're going to just take the delay of game penalty. And
so with 1 second left, Fenwick will take the delay of game. And then they'll just take a knee. Final thoughts, partner, before we go to the post-game show.
Really impressed with what Fenwick was able to do all over the ball, both offensively, defensively. They were able to get some pressure. My concern about defensively for them, they've got to figure out a way to stop the run early in the contest. They weren't able to do that early, but their big plays on offense saved them and kept them having to worry about that. Fenwick is a real team and a real threat to win the whole thing.
All right, we're going to go down the field. I will for the post-game interview brought to you by the NFHS Network. It's going to be Will Tomczak for the Friars, but that does it for our in-game broadcast. So for Ashley Mazzicco, for Matthew Rodewald, I'm Kyle Smith. Final score, 49-21. Friars advance to the semifinals. Burlington season's over, and the post-game show brought to you by the NFHS Network. Coming up next.
There have always been a few, ready to fight and win. Since 1775, these few have been Marines, and they come from across this land to defend the future of our nation. This year, our Corps celebrates 250 years, and Marines are proud to serve this country, each other, and all that is still to come for America. There have always been a few, ready to fight and win. Since 1775, these few have been Marines, and they come from across this land to defend the future of our nation. This year, our Corps celebrates 250 years, and Marines are proud to serve this country, each other, and all that is still to come for America.
Welcome to the post-game show brought to you by the NFHS Network and Sports Broadcast Solutions. I'm Kyle Smith along with our SBS player of the game, Liam Cahill. A dominating 49-21 win for Fenwick over Burlington Central as they're advancing to the semifinals. When you looked at the game film, did you think another blowout was possible?
Yeah, we did. We knew that we had to show up, come physical. So that was it.
Jake Thies, what else can you say when he gets to the open field? It seems like it's a touchdown run every time.
Yeah, he's a beast. He makes guys miss, and he's more physical than the other team.
What were you thinking at halftime? You guys had the lead 20-7, but it seemed like it should have been bigger than that. And then in the second half, you outscored them 29-7.
We just knew we had to keep going and keep playing physical. They were going to try to pass it a little bit, so we had to get out there and cover our guys.
Were you frustrated at all when they ran the double reverse touchdown pass, or did you just shake it off knowing you're going to the semifinal?
We shook it off. Next play mentality.
It's you against Nazareth. It's the Chicago Catholic League East Suburban. Winner advances to normal. The loser, best of four. The four best teams remaining in Class 6A.
Yeah, we're excited to play them. Let's go.
Final thoughts about the win today as you're 2 wins away from a state championship.
We're going to keep playing physical and see where that takes us. Thank you.
That's Liam Cahill. That does it for our post-game show. So for our excellent crew, Matt Rodewald, Ashton Mazzico, I'm Kyle Smith. We'll see you later tonight between Fremd and Bolingbrook. But for now, signing off here on Sports Broadcast Solutions.